Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Age of Empire. This is episode 4 of our ape year. Sorry, I am really tired and I don't know why. Anyway, so I am joined tonight by the brothers Mills, starting with Indiana Graham Mills.
Yeah, look, my agent got onto me and said I needed, not only do I need a music quiz to compete with Chris, but I need a little something else. You're like, Graham, my boy, you need to get to the big time. You
I
need
can't help
something
but notice. Here's the other thing I can't help but notice is your camera's changed position slightly. You're more front on than you were before.
Media training.
Okay, is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought I'd wear my hat today.
Give me. Oh, okay.
I'm sure it was. No. I'm sure it was bigger than last time I put it on my head.
We've all said that before.
Hey.
I have got my horns to hand, so we can do it. If we want to do some headwear, we can.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay, yeah, and Chris, the younger of the two Mills brothers, with his horns and a nice bit of growth on the face there underneath there.
Hey, look,
are you going for the beard?
I've been unemployed for 10 days. It's
going proper bohemian.
Why not? Anyway,
hanging around in cafes.
That's it.
Reading Le Monde or whatever it is.
That's it.
So
coffee.
I have been reading a lot of existential poetry. These
very good.
Okay, so of late we have been doing quizzes. Now I am terrible at this kind of thing. Just ask my family from during the pandemic. There's the sound effects now, but I thought I would do the Batman villains. So there are, I don't know how many Batman villains there are, but there are absolutely tons of them, and the majority of them are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, to be fair. So
go on then.
This sounds ridiculous, but we've got 4 rounds, and I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to give you 3 Batman villains, but one of them is fake, and I want you to pick out the fake one.
Okay. This quickly. All right, fair enough. Using my formula from last week, but I like it. Yeah. Incidentally, before we go any further,
let's.
Before we go any further, I do have to do a public apology to Carl, who pointed out that Alone by Heart is also a cover version, and I didn't think it was. So I did say to him, you either get perfection or you get this podcast. You don't get both.
Whoa, hang on 2 seconds. I think you'll find that one of us did a properly researched music quiz.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. Graham's was the Channel 5 knockoff.
Channel 5 knockoff, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, right. Here we're going. So we are starting with Graham, just because he's on top in my screen here. So for your rounds, you have Johnny Karaoke, the Birthday Boy, and Mind Melder.
Which one do I have to guess the one which isn't?
Which is the one that isn't a Batman villain?
Johnny Karaoke, because it sounds marginally racist.
You're wrong.
Oh, there we go.
He is an actual real villain who sings into a cane, and his story is he gets shot in the head by the Russian mob.
Is it the middle guy? The birthday chap.
I'm afraid not. It is actually Mind Melder, Birthday Boy.
Oh, okay.
He's a serial killer who wears a burlap sack over his head and kills people on their birthday.
Oh, we've all done that.
Yeah. So
what a burlap sack that is. That perfect.
Yeah. I mean, we wish I would do that.
On whose birthday? His birthday or their birthdays?
Their birthdays.
Otherwise it's pretty.
So it's like a
knockoff
Calendar Man kind of vibe.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Enough. Next up is
0 points then.
Okay, 0 points all round. We have Chris. Can you guess which is the fake one?
Yeah.
Catman, the Plasma Phantom, or Humpty Dumpler?
The
Plasma Phantom was my dancing name when I was dancing in Soho.
Plasma Phantom.
Here comes the Plasma Phantom. Exactly, that's it.
You had to stop because all the thrusting you kept doing, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. There's no limits.
One too many times, just poof,
Just too much. Couldn't handle it.
I'm going to say
when I came out with a bassoon taped to my head.
Well, there's no other way. There's no other way to enter a room. I'm going to say the Plasma Phantom.
And you will be correct.
Damn it!
Yes, Catman is a
He is a villain.
Yeah, he's a villain.
He's a proper villain.
The cat equivalent of Spider-Man, and Humphrey Dumpler or Humpty Dumpty likes fixing things, not just which means he has to take them apart, not just machines. He took his own grandma apart and tried to sew her back together.
Charmer.
Yeah, some of these get quite dark.
Yeah,
they do.
It entirely depends on who was writing Batman at the time.
Yeah. Okay, come on in. Hit me with your best shot.
Hit you with my best shot. Okay. Graham.
Is that a cover?
No.
We have for you
maybe
the Wraith.
The Wraith.
The Spectral Siren. And Cornelius Stirk.
The No. Cornelius Stirk seems like the obvious one, but that's like a peculiar name that somebody who's writing comics would think, whose name hasn't I used? Oh, I know. Cornelius. So I'm going to go with the first one, Mr. B. The Wraith.
The Wraith. You are also wrong. The Wraith is basically a dark version of Batman. So it comes down to Chris. Can you?
Wait a minute. Who was the fake then?
Wraith. Chris gets a chance to steal the point.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's new.
Honestly, not clear defined rules.
No clear defined rules. Yes.
Yeah, mad.
Go on then.
He's going to get you to roll some dice. We'll see.
I've got a D20. Hang on. I've got a D20, a D6, and a D10.
We can dice roll it off to see who gets to interrupt, shall we?
Absolutely.
Because that's how you solve things in Mr. B's world.
Cornelius Stirk or the Spectral Siren.
What? But I know that. Okay, so Cornelius Stirk. Okay. Spectral Siren.
That is right. He is
blast it all to hell. That's what I was going to say. Okay.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's a 4. I rolled a 4, Graham. Not so.
2 points to Chris, and here we go with the last round. Okay, so we have the Condiment King, Captain Stingery, and the Clockwork Crusader.
I know one of them.
What was it? Captain Stingering?
Yeah, Stingery.
Stingery, not Stingering. That's You've been watching those parody versions of Batman again on those certain websites.
Let's go with what was the last one? Sorry? That one.
Sorry, the last one, Clockwork Crusader.
Oh, that sounds like a really good comic villain name.
I mean, the thing is, because Batman's so old.
Yeah.
You've got all the 40s, when you got the 50s, when that kind of thing would have been
bob on.
Right up.
Okay, the Clockwork Crusader is not a villain.
It's Chris's round, but yeah, that's right.
That was my round.
No, it was Chris's round.
No, because Chris.
No, I answered your round correctly. It was my round.
Oh, you're right.
This is Channel 5, so you know
this isn't even Channel 5. This is UK TV Play.
This is UK Challenge TV that you get.
On this is worse. This is that little bit on Babe Station that they put out that's allegedly legitimate programming.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen that.
Yes, which is what that was real then, Chris.
Which one is real?
Which one did you think was that? Did you know that was a real one?
Condiment King is a real Batman.
Yes, he is absolutely badass.
Yeah, he shoots ketchup and mustard out of his.
Yeah, that's his weapons. Captain Stingery. This is going back a while. He is one of identical quadruplets who dresses up like a pirate and tries to guess who Batman is by getting his 3 brothers to dress up as Batman.
Seems like a plan. Okay.
Hey, look.
It's
not all gold. Yeah.
Honestly, you can just look at some of these villains are ridiculous. Unfortunately, so many of them were included in the Suicide Squad that it's like, oh my god, what can I?
Okay.
But,
so
like,
Chris
man, for Christ's sake.
Chris's turn. It's 2-1. Go, Chris.
Okay, so I've
got 3 points.
3-1. Go, Chris.
I've answered 2 of my rounds correctly.
And one of mine.
One of yours. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about then we're going with the Toxic Terror, the Eraser, and King Tut.
King Tut is a real villain,
Definitely.
but
he was in the TV series. Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
So Toxic Terror.
What was the first one again?
Eraser. The Toxic Terror or the Eraser.
Toxic Terror, I will go with.
That is correct.
This is comic knowledge.
Yeah, there are some real weirdos there. The Eraser is he wears a hat that is like the the rubber off top of a pencil.
Yeah. Hey, look, when you're going as long as Batman is, ideas are going to get really
coming up with unique names and things for villains. It's a challenge, right? After the first couple of years,
it is.
Things must be getting tricky.
Not.
If you're coming up with the Eraser King or what was the other one they had? Like it was like some weird corn guy or something. I remember seeing some weird Batman villains. They're very peculiar. But yes, there you go.
Okay then, last one. So this is over to
more.
Last one. This is the very last one. Okay. Yeah. See, I told you I came up with stuff. I just hadn't put it together properly.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Graham.
What's that website you're on?
Well, all we got to do is Google.
Yeah.
All right then, Graham.
Yes.
You have got the Killer Moth, Signal Man.
Who?
Signal Man.
Oh, Signal Man, right?
Or the Phantom Prowler.
Signal Man, I reckon, is a definite. He got hit by a train or something. That's going to be his backstory, isn't it? What was the other one? The Prowler, the Phantom
Prowler.
I think he's bogus.
Sorry, Killer Moth.
I think he's bogus. Phantom Prowler is bogus.
Yeah, you are exactly correct. The Killer Moth is basically he's Batman
got bitten by a radioactive moth.
No, he just dresses up like a moth.
Just dresses up, yeah.
And Signal Man is look, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think when they came up with this villain, they were drunk. Because his thing is he does crimes and then he creates a bat signal to let Batman know that he did a crime at that place.
Some people just want to get caught.
That's literally it. And he was instantly captured. So
yeah. My MO is I'm going to summon Batman to the crime scene. Okay, that may work once, but I'm pretty sure second time round you're going to be in trouble, son.
It's not not a serial criminal.
No. Clearly not the sharpest tool in the box. Okay.
There are a lot of one shots, like Johnny Karaoke from the beginning. He basically he's in for like one comic and he turns up. He's like looking cool. Obviously he's Japanese. Does his whole thing and then gets shot in the head by the mob.
See, I would have thought that Signal Man was the fake one because I know that there is a ally of Batman called Signal.
Yep, that's why I put that one in.
So that's what I would
try to throw you off.
Saucy. Okay. All right.
Cool.
Right. Okay. So let's crack on. What are we doing tonight? We are mostly covering Solar Auxilia, everybody's favorite army of not anymore. I was going to say army of the oligarchs, but it isn't really, is it?
Not so much.
No. So we're going to take a look at the list and then have a bit of a list challenge. Now, the list, what the list we're looking at is the stuff in the Liber and Liber Imperium and the Legacies PDF because there's new stuff coming, but we're going to cover that as part of the new book. So, right, shall we crack on and move in?
Let's do it.
That brunch, and I realize I haven't assigned any of this to anybody, have I?
We just thought that you'd be doing the whole thing.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Oi, that's enough.
Where's that music from?
It's game show music.
So, my friends, in this episode, we're going to cover the units purely from the Liber Imperium. We'll do the whole stuff that's going to come with the Beta Garmin shenanigan when the book comes out in its entirety. So Auxilia, they've been around a bit. For those of you who weren't around in version 1 of Heresy, they were a very expensive army to buy, mainly because everything, like very old Heresy, was resin. So there weren't only maybe the Lehman Russes. What's that, Chris?
And you had to have a lot of it as well.
Yeah, and again, as Chris says, you were talking a huge amount of money for a very basic army. Lots of people played them, though. They did have some. They weren't massively uncompetitive. The problem was, to a certain extent, with their rules, was that their rules were not as good as the militia, which was much easier to build and paint, and also actually had much better rules. So it was a bit of a weird one. Now, this I feel has been addressed in this edition. But anyway. Let's start at the beginning. So in terms of the crunch, let's see what you can be as a Solar Auxilia. So they're warlord traits.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, just scrolling back up a bit.
Oh, that was such a great intro. Laid it out nicely.
Okay. The first warlord trait is Bloody Handed. Grants +1 to combat resolution within 12 inches and an extra assault phase reaction. Personally, I don't think I'd take this because I don't want my warlord getting into combat.
I mean, these are the standard ones, right? Those are the standard. Those are the standard. Stoic Defender is, pinning for the. Yeah, it's exactly the same, isn't it? So I don't know whether are there any specific ones for the Solar Aux? Was it they just use the standard?
I think you've just got the armored legate.
Armored legate. Okay, cool.
Armored legate. So the armored legate is restricted to a Lehman Russ command tank, upgraded with combat doctrines. So that basically is where we'll talk about combat doctrines shortly. If using the armored fist pattern cohort, and it gets a 5+ invuln save and +1 ballistic skill.
Okay.
Attack, yes.
On attack.
I mean, +1 ballistic skills useful because the ballistic was so terrible. But yes, 5+ invuln, also not terrible.
So, quick question.
Because
you do it on a command tank, which already has ballistic, ballistic skill 4, I think. Command tank
might well do. I'll have to have a check.
So let me just quickly click on a button,
and
I can answer my own question. Armor Tercio command tank. So command tank already has ballistic skill 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Lehman Russ with ballistic skill 5, basically.
Hitting on twos.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But it can only take a battle cannon.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
Yar.
It'd be fantastic if you could take a vanquish cannon, but let's come on to that in a minute.
Yeah. Just
Okay. Do you want to take us through the first of those special rules then, Chris?
The first of the special rules. These are the cohort doctrines. And we've got the close order subtype. This is a crucial operation aspect of the army. Under this designation, the entire squad maintains unit coherency range of 1 inch, precluding them from executing running or sweeping actions. However, they retain the ability to move up to half their normal speed while retaining the capacity to shoot heavy weapons as if they were stationary. The curse of my existence is the very idea that things can move and shoot heavy weapons. Shouldn't be allowed.
They can't move far, and to be fair, the main time you're going to use that is on your rifles and on your rifle sections, because they can fire their one-shot strength 6 AP4 shots, which count as heavy.
Yep.
So that's why it's super useful in that regard. So they can move, 3, fire, etc. But yeah, that's not terrible. It's not a bad thing, but it is, fairly situational. The next thing that's quite confusing and does require a little bit of mind spaghetti is how the Terracos work and what Terracos are, because they are kind of the key to the army.
Tercio,
sorry. I don't want to call them Terracos. Tercios.
Terrico.
Yeah, of course. The Tercio special rule is very pivotal because most of the army is going to be structured around using these. And what this does is allow for the consolidation of multiple units within a single force organization slot. So, for example, a rifle tercio will include X number of rifle squads plus a rifle command squad. And that's one tercio, which has special rules. When units within the same tercio or slot are within 3 inches, within a 3-inch proximity to each other, they are deemed to be in formation. This status affords troopers certain advantages, such as the ability to react uniformly during reactions involving shooting or movement, alongside other benefits that become apparent with the cohort doctrine. So if you take, for example, you've got somebody who's playing, I don't know, let's call them custodies, the Emperor's favourite hall monitors, and they decide that the only way to play this game is to deep strike next to that blob of 60 rather pathetic looking humans. They may be in for a bit of a shock, because for one reaction, as long as you're within 3 inches of each other, all of those could basically fire the interceptor reaction, and you'd end up with 60 shots, probably at strength 6.
Well, they could, unless they get pinned from the deep strike being so close.
Yeah. I mean, the rifle's 18-inch range, so if you did, you'd have to be within 6 for that to happen. But yes, ultimately, and again, I don't quite know how it works with things like augury scanners, but I'm assuming it's just the one unit that it affects, not the whole tercio. But I can't remember. So yeah, but again, things like moving.
So buy the augury scanner per unit, so I would think that it's not for, you don't burst one.
So yeah, so they can all advance and they can all withdraw uniformly with one reaction, and they can all return fire, and they can all evade with one reaction. So I think involving shooting or movement. So I'll have to just double check on whether is it just the return fire, or is it you can actually evade as one big blob as well. So yeah, it might be worth having a quick look at that. I'll have a look at the rules while we go. So yeah, but that's probably one of their strong points. But of course, you do have to get up close and personal with each other in a way that probably in version 1 would have been suicidal with all the templates. But they're not the most armored of creatures in the world, so you can make a mess of them with a nice heavy flamer.
So cool. Models of special rule may only be taken as part of a tercio when a reaction is declared for a unit with this rule that allows it to make a shooting attack or move. Then all units from the same tercio that are in formation with the reacting unit may also move or make a shooting attack as described in the reaction being made. So would then you get to do.
So again, in the shooting phase only, did you say?
No, when it gets to when a reaction is declared for a unit with this rule that allows it to make a shooting attack or move.
Yep.
So so you could. Yeah, one unit deep strike.
You have 60 potentially all coming at you, Cleopatra. But yeah, you couldn't use that to evade all of them. Is the point?
No,
because it's only a shooting reaction or a movement reaction, not a evade reaction, which would have been super handy. Cool. Yeah. Glad we clarified that before we got letters into the editor.
All right. So shall I start running through some of the cohorts then?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So cohort doctrine. So basically the Solar Auxilia isn't a single unified regiment that works in exactly the same way, but it's a framework for numerous regiments to operate within. So all units are in void armor and organized to Tercio, they're Solar Auxilia. But the flexibility means that there's a lot of variations. And if you have a model with cohort doctrine, so I think that's your legate marshal and your command tank, if you've got a particular pattern, you get to take one of these. It's basically a right of war. We know more are coming in the next book, but you've got 8 doctrines in this book. So, Chris, do you want to take us through the first one, which is the solar pattern?
You can only, just very quickly with the command tank.
Oh, go on.
The command tank only gets combat doctrines
if it's part of the armored fist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's sorry. I should have probably been better.
No. Just yeah. It's not all of the It's not any old command tank. Right, so we have Solar Pattern, the original pattern from the early Great Crusade, based on the 1st to the 10th Saturn 9 Rams, an elite option, Wix Auxilia, Velataris Tercios, may be taken as troops with line, and they can also take Arvus transports, dedicated transports, but cannot take more than one Auxilia armored Tercio. Sorry, the shock of that just absolutely tore through me. And only one artillery tertiary. So this is boots on the ground. Field Marshal Haig kind of vibe. Get as many bodies on the floor as you can and pray.
Yeah,
I suppose they can take other things. They can take other things as dedicated transport as well. They can't. They so they can. You can put them in Drakazins and things without having any problems. Oh dear. What can I take? An Aurochs, Drakazin, yeah. What do we think? I don't know. I mean, I love having boots on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would build the amount of boots you'd have to paint is incredibly off-putting. But I don't know if it's necessarily the way that I would build a Solar Auxilia army around that particular doctrine.
I think, I suppose, if you've got the Auxilia Velataris are pretty useful, and they used to be in version 1. They used to be a troops choice with line, what was effectively line back then. So putting them is pretty useful. And if you think about it, you can take them in 20s now and put 20 into a Drakazan, which actually makes them pretty handy. Yeah, so I think there's the problem. If you had a lot of them, I mean, you have to put them in big numbers, because 20 Volkite chargers at range is not terrible. You know, it's a fair chunk of shots.
There is the problem that they are heavy. They're not.
They're assault, I think. Not assault. They're rapid fire, aren't they?
Vellatar. No. The models themselves have got the heavy characteristic.
They have. That's true.
So you can't run them. So they're not.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I think you'd have to put them into a Drakazan to make them worthwhile, right? Because they're not going to get across the board. But
you say that, but the Arvus transport, which we'll get onto the rules for this later, it's got deep strike. It could basically be a drop pod. So if you've got 10
but they're going to take 10 in that.
That's the disadvantage. But if you've got 10-man squads, you could essentially have a Arvus transport drop pod to get them where they need.
And that would work so well. As we know, deep striking is a great way to get your army up the board.
It is the way that
it's not a tactic to ever employ, in my opinion. The problem with doing it is you've basically got, with the Drakazin, and
it's expensive.
It's 345 points.
Yeah.
It's nearly 400 points for what is in effect a fairly flimsy.
I mean, they're always going to be flimsy, right? That's the thing with the Solar Auxilia. The best armor you can get them is 4+.
Yeah.
So you're going to die a lot, and you're going to die to heavy bolters like there's no tomorrow, heavy flamers. Yeah. You know, assault cannons, auto cannons, whatever. They're going to take you to bits. So you have to, I think, consider that as part of your planning for the army, because they will lose a lot very, very quickly. Chain axes, chain swords, AP4, just rip through you.
There's so many melee weapons are AP4.
Which, if you think about it, kind of makes sense, because the Space Marines themselves were set up really to, I suppose, to conquer Xenos, but also, but other humans was their main prerogative. And like I say, most human armor is, at best 4+.
All right. What about the Ultramar pattern, Graham?
Yeah, I like this one, not surprisingly. So Auxilia Infantry Terricos can now include up to 6 las rifle sections. So if you really want to bring the boys to the party, this is how you do it. And what is probably the best part of this is when they're in base-to-base contact with at least one other model from the same unit, +1 to their shooting attacks. Now, people of the podcast, long-suffering people of the podcast, will know my aversion to taking any army with a ballistic skill of 4.
Ballistic
skill 3. So it drives me absolutely mad, because I can't roll a 3 to hit, and asking me to roll a 4 to hit is literally impossible. So this is a way to kind of get around that. Again, as we talked about earlier, you're bunching your troops up, so you're asking for trouble if somebody's got a few templates handy. But hitting on 3s rather than 4s is a huge difference. And again, everything else would come into play. But you are going to have to really bunch them up. But again, if you're using the Terrico rule, that may be an advantage. So
yeah, but if you fill out 2 Terricos, that's 480.
So a las rifle section is 20. One las rifle, so that's 240. If you in
Well, a normal las rifle section base is 10. So yeah, you're paying.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, so I think super useful. I mean, it's not a bad one for getting around the problems that you've got with your poor ballistic skill and the disappointingly terrible thing. The downsides of this, las rifle sections and line command sections can take in dedicated transports. It's not a massive downside, I feel, to be honest with you, compared to some of the others, just because you're probably not going to want to put them in a Dracosan anyway. You'd want to put your Venattaris in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always said volume of fire is always your friend.
I mean, if you're hitting with, if you've got, I mean, you're talking about painting models, if you've got 2 Terricos to take up your 2 compulsory troop choice sections with 6 las rifle sections in each, that's 240 models you're going to have to paint.
So you can
art around,
because the las rifle's heavy.
It is heavy, it is. But they can move and fire it but if they move,
and they've got the various shooting modes, haven't they? So
but I think one mode's heavy, one mode is rapid fire.
No,
they're both heavy.
Both heavy. Volley is 30 inches, strength 3, AP 6, heavy 2. Blast charger is 18 inches, strength 6, AP 4, heavy 1.
Yeah. So I think that's but again, they can move half distance, but they're not an army designed for moving. I think they're an army designed to stand there and shoot. That was their tactic. Yeah. It feels very Napoleonic, to be honest with you, but I think that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
The penal pattern. Reborn. I've skipped ahead slightly.
Yeah.
These are basically, the heresy happened at the end of the Great Crusade. A lot of regiments had been retired, and basically Horus said, right, let's go off to Terra, have a bit of a bash up, and some of the guys went, jolly good, let's sign back up. And basically your infantry in this pattern get +1 to leadership and stubborn. And if a unit doesn't move,
super useful.
Reroll to hit rolls of 1 during shooting attacks. But you can't take more than 1 auxiliary armored tercios. You're limited to 7 Lehman Russes. Oh dear. And 1 auxiliary artillery tercio. So what's that? 9 rapiers.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Infantry units are also at initiative 1 when they're making reactions, running and sweeping advances, and when determining the order of the attack during the assault phase. So in assault, they're always going last because old man energy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a cracker because that's stubborn.
You could.
Their leadership isn't great. I mean, but there's ways around that. But you can make a very resilient, if not effective, army. I think is the way that
the thing that's also stubborn is because they're not taking.
Sorry, I was just going to disturb you. Say, apparently the new console that's coming in the book does something with that, but I don't know what that's going to be.
The thing with stubborn is they're not going to take minuses to their leadership from the volume of wounds they're going to take, and they're going to take a ton of wounds.
Yeah, and also they're not going to be affected by fear.
Nope.
Yeah,
it's not going to impact their morale save, I think. Yes, that's right, with fear.
Yeah.
And so things like night fighting don't affect them as much. So in night fighting, you get -1 ballistic skill, fair enough, but you also get fear 1, which is Night Lord's favourite tactic. So having a whole army of stubborn, they're going to take some shifting, right? So that's actually that is, I think, probably one of the better ones. I mean, you are hitting on 3s. There is that. Sorry, you're hitting on 4s rather. So there is that depressing side of things.
Well,
but
at least
throw enough dice at it, you might get lucky.
What they can take Auxilias, can't they, as well? So
yeah,
that will help them out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You've got a lot of options.
Yeah. I'm just doing ways to improve their leadership to make sure they don't do a bunk. Come back to that in a second. Right, next up we have... Mr. B's done it in an awkward line.
Sorry. Apologies. Oh, yeah.
I was reading it going through the book as I was going along, and then it all went sideways. Feral pattern. Regiments recruited from barbaric cultures, such as the north of England, and are aggressive regiments, like the 142 Chthonian headhunters.
Yeah.
Any infantry can purchase fear for 25. Any infantry unit can take fear for 25 points and gains counterattack 1 when in formation, but they must charge when they have the opportunity, and they are distrusted allies when in loyalist armies.
I just realised I put Leroy Jenkins in there, and that's actually supposed to be a annotation. But yeah, no, I was thinking with this one, this is where I think needle pistols are really going to come into their own.
I mean, I think that fear is kind of gives you -1 to the people's leadership, right?
Yeah.
If they're in close combat with you. If they're in close combat with you, you're just going to fold with Solar. I've never seen Solar Auxiliary be able to withstand too much in that way. So I guess it's a bit of a weird one. I can see it thematically, particularly with the Chthonian headhunters, but 25 points for something that is only going to be valuable to you, I think, when you basically cause more wounds and they have to make the other side take a leadership test.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, I think you might want to take it on your Velataris, I guess, for the crazy, or the Ogryns, I suppose.
Yeah, the Ogryns with fear wouldn't be terrible, but I'm not sure
it
stacks up.
But yeah,
I mean, my personal view is that I would never, and I know people have probably done this and have a lot of fun with it, but this is not a close combat army.
No.
And I think that if you try and make an army that isn't a close combat army a close combat army, you're never going to be as good as you could be. Now, I could be completely wrong, and there's probably going to be people writing in as we speak saying, "Oh, my Solar Auxiliary took on Fulgrim and beat him to death with when there was just 3 of them."
I think you're more likely to do that with the stubborn army than you are
exactly
with
right.
this.
The stubborn one.
What I will say, Graham, is we're all sort of everyone's getting excited about the Velataris with axes, and we're going, why? So I think that the whole community is like, oh yeah, they're gonna have axes. It's gonna be brilliant, and we're like, oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
Those storm axes are, yeah.
I mean, you're still, anyway.
They look amazing, but yeah.
I think you're always going to be on going against marine equivalents. You are always going to be second best by some way. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
So this one for you, Graham.
The armored fist pattern. So this was one made for me. Represents mechanized regiments of Auxilia armored Terricos. Sorry, Auxilia armored Terricos have been taken as non-compulsory troop choices, but may only be made up of a single Lehman Russ strike squadron. A single Lehman Russ command tank must be the Warlord and gains the armored Legate Warlord trait, which we talked about, which gives them a +1 ballistic skill and 5++ invuln and cohort doctrines, but the cohort doctrine must be the armored fist pattern one. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So great, but you're still going to need scoring, right? These aren't line.
Yep, you've got
they just go into the troop section rather than the heavy support section or wherever they are.
Yeah, you've still got to take your dudes.
So if you want an army that's primarily just all Lehman Russes, which you can do very easily, it basically frees up your 3 heavy support choices to put something with a little bit more Friesen in it, and you can just fill up some strike squadrons, in your troop choices. Yeah. For example, the command tank's not terrible. Like I said, he does become the Warlord. So slay the Warlord means you've got to chop your way through a Lehman Russ, which is never that easy, but not impossible. So it's not terrible. Could be good fun. Mainly, I would say, you've got to have your things in reserve. So Drakasans, Oryxes if they're a 10-man squad. Etc. etc.
Yeah, no. The Drakazans can start on the board. the infantry have to be in them,
Yeah.
or the infantry has to be in reserve.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So the Drakazans can start the board.
Yeah, and that's no bad thing. But I mean, and maybe putting them in reserve might be useful-ish. I mean, they don't die in the first turn at least, but you know, you then got to move them, and we've just talked about the fact that their weapons are heavy. So,
I think.
Sorry, no, the normal rifles got heavy, or is it just the
Yes, the normal rifles got the normal rifles weapons got heavy.
Yeah, but the unit type isn't heavy.
No, they're not. No.
Yeah, so they can run, whereas the Velataras can't. Okay, cool, very good. Not terrible, fun. With if you want to take if you want to paint the fewest amount of figures as humanly possible, this is the one for you. If you like painting tanks, you can just fill it with tanks and just bang in 2 10-man squads of rifle wielding guys, and you're done.
Yep, it's pretty good in that respect. All right, then we've got the penal pattern. So any guesses to what this is themed around?
Classic penal legions.
Yeah, basically, when you fail to get volunteers to fill your regiments, why not cut corners and turn to recruiting prisoners, Wagner Group style? So your las rifle sections get Feel No Pain 6+, and any model with the Tertia rule also gets Furious Charge. And because you're cutting corners, you can dump your las rifles or Volkite chargers and replace them with auto rifles and las guns, which with 24 inches, rapid fire on those as well. Las carbines was an 18-inch Assault 2 AP6, or shotguns with 12-inch Assault 2 Concussive 1, or stub carbines with 12 inches Assault 3, and a single auxiliary in any las rifle section can take a heavy stubber for 5 points. But you lose the close order subtype, and you can only take a single auxilia Velataris tertio.
Okay.
I think this is the most complicated of them, just because you end up with a bunch of weapon options. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess you would probably you wouldn't use Solar Auxilia models for this. I wouldn't. Anyway.
Yeah, this is where I'd be using
like the Colts or militia ones for this.
Yeah, or just militia, or just Cadians and what have you.
I mean, if you wanted to just throw a load of bodies at the situation, as you say, Wagner style, then this may be the army for you. Just enough bodies will eventually, as we've break through, and you can just put them on with shotguns or something, stub carbines even. I'm assuming their strength 3 is a stub carbine.
I mean, it's going to save you points on the Medicae section because you've already got that 6+ Feel No Pain built in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and Furious Charge as well. So you can, if you wanted them to, wade in just to soak up some damage, but they're going to run quickly and die a lot. So you need lots of them.
I'm thinking it's like
could be quite funny.
Got, like concussive. Concussive isn't what it used to be.
No.
I'm pretty sure concussive used to be drop their initiative to 1 or something like that.
It did, yeah.
And now it takes 1 off their weapon skill.
Right. Which, bear in mind, your weapon skill is already 3 anyway, so...
Well, no, it takes 1 off whoever gets hit by its weapon skill.
Okay. Yeah, it's a model unit as well. So it's like one model. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so...
It's fine.
I think, maybe stub carbines might be the thing to go with. Just run some, basically guys just wearing their underpants and a stub carbine at the enemy lines and see what happens. Could work. It's a tactic.
It's that. It is a tactic in the loosest sense.
It would be quite fun, I've got to say, to play.
Yeah. I think as a modelling opportunity, really nice.
I mean, just imagine having 240 guys on you, just going right that way, off you go. And then just not really caring, just try and just swamp.
I think you'll find, Graham. Some of us have been doing that with 200 point whole characters.
Yeah, three guys for that.
They don't. That's why they don't let me have Solar Aux, because
fair enough.
Too many bodies to throw onto the pile.
Mm-hmm.
Right, siege pattern. The Solar Auxilia version of the Iron Warriors can take both Auxilia Armored Tertios and Auxilia Artillery Tertios as both elites and heavy support options, and can re-roll the scatter dice when firing blast and barrage weapons. But every infantry unit must have dedicated transport, but they don't have to start within them.
Yeah, you've just got to buy them.
I'm not quite sure whether you would. Well, the only reason you would take this over the armored one is artillery. You would get more artillery in.
So
because otherwise you just use the tanks, wouldn't you?
But you could take the armored one,
yes.
And the additional units you get as troops can only be made up of a single tank.
Mm-hmm. Whereas a single squadron, I think.
If I'm not mistaken. Single squad, or I'll object to.
Your tercios become a single squad. Yeah.
A single Lehman Russ strike squadron.
Yeah.
So you could take 6.
Oh yeah.
Groups. But
anyway,
you got 6.
But then you wouldn't have any scoring units. Oh no, Bellatar could.
You take your normal troops anyway.
Yeah.
But this has got the artillery version, which gives you demolishers, executioners, which are super useful.
You're right.
Super useful weapons to have, and opens up more ways of shoving them.
I agree. And re-rolling scatter dice, super useful because there's a lot of blast weapons. Involved. But artillery isn't what it was.
No, I mean, and the big guns, the demolishers and things aren't what they used to be.
The big guns certainly do tire.
Very tired.
The Medusa cannon is terrible now. The what's the Earthshaker on the Basilisk?
Oh, Basilisk, yeah.
Yeah, Earthshaker.
Not great. Even the good old days of the
Demolish cannon's only AP3.
Yeah, it is only AP3, strength 12 though. But yeah, it is only AP3. So anything Terminator armor is going to try and shrug it off on a 2+.
Earthshaker cannon, strength 9, AP4. Ugh.
Shocking.
The cannon isn't actually that bad, but it's the platform and the cost. Anyway, what about the iron pattern, Graham? This is until the plastics. This is, for me, I think this was the double oligarch army.
The double oligarch special.
This is yeah.
So these regiments are big fans of the old robots and can take Castellax battle automata maniples and phalanx cohorts as elite options, which is nice. Legate marshals, auxiliary marshals, and auxiliary captains can each buy a Cortex controller, 15 points, and the legate marshal gets marshal automata, which I think means he can join automata. I can't remember.
Yes.
You cannot take more than one auxiliary armored terracotta and only one, which is kind of common thing here, one auxiliary artillery terracotta as well. Mm-hmm. So not a big downside, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what. I mean, if you've got the models, you'd think, well, Phalanx is a troop choice for the Mechanicum.
Yeah, I mean, only reason.
I mean, I would take a. You just put a Magos in there, and you get all the advantages of having a Mechanicum army, and just have it as an allied detachment.
The only reason I personally would take this is because I have some Castellexes, and I'm like, oh well, I can start my army, and I've got a big bunch of free, 6 Castellexes. That's a big boost to my points, and I can get that 3K a bit quicker to start playing games. That's literally the only reason.
But you could, I will say, is you could do the same thing with allied detachment.
Yeah,
and it'd be a better allied detachment than adding it. So
absolutely.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Run through some of the. Go on. Yeah,
they do give some flavour to the army for sure.
Yeah.
And that's nice. I think. I don't think everybody takes the same one, so it's not like an auto. That's the one you have to take. Mm-hmm. There seems to be horses for courses, which is good.
Yeah, there's a bit of everything for every flavour, isn't it? Someone who wants to take tanks.
Yeah,
you're not.
Well, I'm taking thousands of guys. There's the seat. There's the penal colony.
There's 3 or 4 options.
Yeah. So there's some cool stuff in there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to run through some of the equipment, and then Chris will run through one more bit. But basically, this is easy. You got your void armor. That's a 4-up armor save. Most of you guys are in there. Reinforced armor, which is the same, just heavy. Heavy void armor, which gives you the 3+
save. Heavy void armor.
Heavy void armor.
Velataris sergeant, whatever they are, can upgrade.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. The prime guy.
Yeah, and then you've got your Vexelia, which is your +1 to combat resolution.
10 points for a 3+ armor save.
The next the next two bits of equipment. So I'll run through the first one, the command box, which is a master box. Basically, this is your tool for coordinating your tercios efficiently. So any unit equipped with a master box can share its leadership with other units equipped with a box interlock, which Chris will take you through in a minute, or another master box. So
this is super useful.
Yeah, basically you can use your officer's leadership for pinning a morale test, which makes it easier to pass.
Thinking about that, if you then use the one with stubborn, that means that you've got leadership 10 stubborn. On as long as you're not sniping the box caster guy.
Yep. Now, the big advantage with the master box, you can use it in reserve. So if your Legate Marshal is hidden in a line command section in reserve, he can still broadcast his leadership 10 to the whole army right from the start.
Nice.
That is absolutely brilliant. I love it. But what about the box interlocks, Chris?
So the Vox, this is a one-way radio that enables units to utilize leadership of any officer who is also equipped with a command Vox. However, it's important to note that the one-way radio is useless without a command Vox. So it's essential to ensure that there's at least one unit equipped with the command Vox in the army. Yeah, it's just the one-way radio.
Yeah, it's just how he gets the leadership 10.
Die harder, and that's and they go okay.
There is a way to get a leadership 11, isn't there? I remember rightly.
Is there?
Maybe, but I can't remember. But it sounds familiar.
It is actually possible in the army. I'll have a see if I can remember how somebody did it.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to take us for our first unit as we dig into those, Graham?
Yeah, give us a second. So let's start with the start then. HQs. So the Legate Marshal. So he's the sort of company commander, I suppose. 85 points, 0 to 1 restriction. The Lord Marshal is a formidable addition to any force. They come equipped with a las pistol and close combat weapon, heavy void armor for that lovely 3+ save we talked about, a refractor field, frag and crack grenades, and it's kind of versatile and resilient in relation to the rest of the army. Mm-hmm. Isn't there? Do you have to upgrade to the Lord Marshal from a Legate Marshal?
Possibly. I may have got this. Yeah, I'm just going to open up the book now.
I've got it here. Give me a second.
Oh, no. All right. Okay.
Break everything.
I could be
trying to do this. Legate Marshal.
But I'm thinking of the old version. I think. Yeah. So the old version, you have to upgrade to a Lord Marshal. But yeah, it looks like Legate Lord Marshal is interchangeable. So they've got a plethora of upgrade options, which is good, but it can also lead you down a perilous path, as we've seen with the Archmagos in previous episodes. So pistols, blast pistol, needle pistol, hand flamer, Volkite Serpenta, plasma pistol, Inferno pistol, or the Archaeotech pistol. Similarly, close combat weapons can be upgraded to power weapons, charnable weapons, thunder hammer, power fist, paragon blade. Any weapon may be master class for 10 points. So you sort of look at that and thinking, hey, I can make a proper cool guy here. But just remember the stat line, toughness 3. Nothing you can do about that.
But he has battle hardened.
It does have battle hardened. So yeah.
So for his instant death profile, for instant death, it's toughness 4.
Yeah. And you can still take with him a Iron Halo.
He can. So yeah, I can take Artificer armor.
Yep.
Which takes away their heavy subtype, by the way. To get an Iron Halo, so giving you the old classic 2+4+, Cyber Familiar, and Melter Bombs for 20 points. So the Cyber Familiar is going to give you 3+, 2+3+ rather, which actually makes them actually better than a Space Marine Praetor.
Better than Custodes Shield Captain.
Sorry,
and Tribune. Better than a Custodes Shield Captain and Tribune. There you go. Yeah.
Melter Bombs.
These are the chads of the
such a word. This configuration price, let's say 2+3+, making them incredibly resilient. And honestly, the cost to upgrade them, it's almost worth it, particularly as you're going to want that leadership 10 being shouted out to the rest of your troops. Battle hardened, as we've just talked about. So 2+3+, 4 wounds, difficult to eliminate without strength 8 AP2 weapons. Agreed. But then again, just follow them before I'll take them down. So yeah, Praetors, they're stuck. they lack the strength to take down other Praetors, though you might get lucky if you go the Paragon Blade.
Yeah.
Stubborn they come with, and cohort doctrines provide additional advantages. Mr. B is saying that the Thunderhammer is an intriguing option.
Yeah.
So obviously it's priced at the same as a Power Fist for the Lord Marshal, which is interesting. It makes them a legitimate threat to legions, centurions, and similar targets, despite their inability to instantly kill. The Paragon Blade, while risky, offers any chance for instant death and can be effective against Praetors or named characters. Seems fair. But you're only going to be strength 6 with that.
But Thunderhammers do brutal, bear in mind.
They totally do. So I would probably take...
Which is why mine's been equipped with a Thunderhammer.
Yeah. I think I would probably take a Thunderhammer over a Paragon Blade, but
the cool thing about this is you get all the options on the sprue as well.
I don't think, to be honest with you, I would never give my Lord Marshal any kind of close combat weapon. And here's the logic. If you give a model a Thunderhammer, you're going to want to use the Thunderhammer, right?
Yeah.
So the temptation may be, I'll just move my squad into close combat and I'll do some damage, but you probably won't. And what you really want is actually you want the classic kind of World War I general, where you just kind of boot them into the back of the trench and let the rest of the army get on with the fight.
I suppose think about it. There's a three up invulnerable save. I mean, I know it's going to be relatively easy for people to wound him with his own toughness 3, but he's going to be needing a Power Fist.
And he's going to be surrounded by.
He's going to go at the same time as things that will kill him instant death ways.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking is, do you want him to have a way to defend himself if he suddenly finds himself dealing with a deep striking?
If you're at that point, it's game over for him. I think honestly, if you think about the points, I would upgrade them with a 2+, 3+ for sure. But that's all I would do. I don't think I would do any more. I would personally
give him a 2+, 3+, stick him in a Drakazon with a flare shield at the back of the line, and
just leave him there. Just stay there.
Can they use their Vox things while they're in?
Yeah,
they can use it in reserve. So yeah.
So anyway, overall, Lord Marshal is a crucial component of any list. Okay, particularly when paired with the command Vox and to bolster morale checks and pinning tests throughout the army, as we've talked about. Okay, Mr. B, over to you.
Yeah, you are. Well, as I said, the cool thing about this guy is you get all the options for him on the sprue, and as we discussed in the previous episode, the sprue actually contains. If you get the command squad, you get your standard 5-man. Sorry, 5-man sprue, but then the command upgrade sprue has parts to let you build a 6th guy. So you're always going to get your command tertio and a marshal. And considering the number of command sections you're going to want to buy, you're going to end up with a lot of options of marshals, but they only put 5 bases in the box. They literally do say if you've got a spare base, but yeah. Anyway, so sorry. Okay, the Auxilia Tactical Command Tertio is the elite of the elite tertios, 1 to 3 units, and one of them is mandated to be the Tactical Command Section. Yeah. It's the bastion for all your custom elites. These get your plasma guns, your melter guns, your combi weapons, and all sorts. And whereas the Velataris and the Las Rifle sections basically have got 0 customization for the most part, these guys are where you're going to get that. They all get refractor fields. You've got your 5+ invuln save, and they've all got 2 wounds. So, and the officers even sturdier. So these basically are made up of tactical command sections, which Chris is going to talk about, and companion sections, which Graham will talk us through.
So, command sections. This is a formidable unit led by a Solar Auxilia captain. He's got 3 attacks and 3 wounds, so not too shabby, although he is also toughness 3. So that's going to cause you all sorts of bother. Accompanying him are 4 stalwart companions, each imbued with the stubborn trait, which we very much enjoy. They have refractor fields, void armor, melter bombs, and las rifles are standard. You can get upgrades to them as well. Can they take as an upgrade just out of a... okay, cool. Vodka chargers, power weapons, blast pistols, combo weapons, specialist armaments. The captain can further enhance the defenses with heavy void armor and ascend to the rank of marshal, offering increased combat prowess with weapon skill 5 and 4 attacks, as we have previously said.
Yeah,
in that situation, things are not going well.
He's the junior marshal, so yeah.
Additionally, the 4 companions can be outfitted with utility upgrades, such as Command Vox, Augury Scanner, or the Revered Auxilia or Cohort Auxilia, the sole bearer of such an honor in the army. The Cohort Auxilia confers the line ability to the unit and grants the leadership boost to leadership 9 to nearby allies within 6 inches, although the latter benefit may be redundant due to the presence of the Command Vox or Vox Interlink. Nonetheless, the line ability is always appreciated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm still using AI to help me write this stuff.
You've missed out a very key point about that, which is they can all be armed with plasma guns.
Yes. Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, plasma guns, melter guns,
melter guns. Oh yeah, true. Sorry, I do apologise. But yeah, I think that's a key factor with this squad, particularly again if somebody's getting a little bit tasty and thinking about deep strike to 10 plasma guns, or actually if you put them with a companion squad, it's 20 plasma guns coming at you for fun. And
do you want to?
And Overwatch as well, right? If you charge you're going to get 20 plasma guns in the face, which is not to be laughed at.
That's a point, actually. Mm-hmm. Do any of the tercios give them? Because they don't get any additional reactions, do they?
No, they get. So the Warlord trait gives them additional reactions.
Warlord trait gets them the reaction.
So you can take Stoic Defender, which is probably what you would take, giving you an extra reaction in the shooting phase.
Okay. Yeah.
But that also makes your guns in which unit you join, that would give them all pinning, which is super useful. Albeit pinning plasma guns somewhat limited because it ranges maximum 24, but still something to think about.
Yeah. To be fair, I think the problem with this army is I probably was going to mention this later on, but there's not a lot of pinning in it.
Yeah. So the companion squadron, capable of being upgraded to include weapon skill 5, leadership 8, 3 attacks adjutant. Again, the wounds, yes. Weapon skill 5 is tempting you. It's teasing you to get out there and have a scrap.
Ignore the weapon skill. Go for it.
Why don't they make it ballistic skill, for goodness sake?
Yeah,
but anyway, access to the same weapons as the command squadron, and also they all get refractor fields. Which again gives them a 5+ invuln, which is super useful. So you've got, another 10-man squad of 5+ invuln guys. They've got the same weapon options, so they can take all those lovely guns.
How many of the companion squads can you take again? Sorry, I'm just.
What's that, mate?
How many of the companions can you take again? Is it 1 to 3 or 0 to 3?
In the command section.
Yeah.
It is 0 to 2.
All right, so yeah, so you can potentially have 30 guys in your command section here as ablative wounds for your Lord Marshal.
Well, yeah, but what's more important is they would be all reacting at the same time if you kept them within 3 inches of each other, for example.
30 plasma guns.
Yeah, and so if you charge that squad, you're going to get 30 plasma guns in your chops, or 30 melter guns if you're feeling particularly saucy.
Yeah, I think. What's the difference in points? Only 5 points.
5 points, but over 30 models. What's that?
Yeah, it's a lot.
They can also take combi weapons as well. So
it's just
I would never take a combi weapon over a plasma gun, to be honest with you, personally, but that's just me. But anyway, again, super useful. They get the tercio rules, so they can all bunch up. And bother Vox Interlock again, like I said, making the leadership the same as the Lord Marshal, who's now hidden within your command section somewhere. So yeah, super useful.
Yeah, lot of cool stuff in there.
I like them. I think they're probably one of the strongest units that the Solar Auxiliary have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did sort of mention here, you've got, if you are looking for like, you can take the pistols and the power fist, right, for the adjutant, for the companions.
Yep.
And the way I looked at this was, why would I? I'm just going to, if I want this to, I wouldn't take a power fist, because if I want this to deal with armor, I'm just going to load it up with melter guns. And the Vox interlock means I don't need to bother with that leadership 8. So don't need the adjutant, and say 10 points instead.
Yeah, I mean, he's got additional wounds, but again, the temptation would be to chuck him into close combat, and you don't. My view is you don't really want to be doing that. It's not their strength. So you're absolutely right, Mr. B. Give them a melter gun, and you've got something that's far more useful.
Yeah, I think a standard companion with a melter gun is a bit better, because you don't need his enhanced leadership if you take that Vox and you look after your Vox guy.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Over to you.
The next one's an interesting one. It's a legacy. It's our first legacies. It's the Davonite Lodge Priest. Now, he was an exclusive model to events. Oh, God, this must be going on like 15 years or something. It was like the UK Games Expo and stuff back when it was in the Hilton Hotel. And Forge World's stand was literally one bloke on a little desk with the catalogue, and you just put in the mail order. But basically, these are guys from Horus's corruption. They sort of helped him become. They can't be the warlord. They've got no combat prowess, but they've got psychic powers. Well, one psychic power. They basically restore wounds on a model. It doesn't work to bring anything back to life, but you pop in with your, if Terminators in an Allied Space Marines list, or Ogrins in this list, he's gonna use that psychic power to keep them alive just that little bit longer. So,
how many points is he? Because I noticed you haven't.
It's not many. I'm just going to look
at the reason I don't put the points on is because I plan to publish these, and Games Workshop actually will do the whole do not. That's one thing that never publish the points.
50 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry. The reason I never put the specific points for stuff on is if you put all the points on, they will come at you, because that's them saying, hey, why aren't that's our money. Someone doesn't need to buy the book. So
that's our money maker. Okay, cool.
And the whole plan is I want to put these up on the website, so we've got an article, because we've already got 2 on the website, Demons and Dark Angels. They're great.
If Games Workshop want to email us, it'd be a nice change.
Be a nice change, wouldn't it? They'll actually contact us sharpish if you put the prices on there. Not when they're handing out free copies of a book for us to review, eh? I mean, they've only got 10,000 listeners. What do we know?
I think the problem is it's really hard to sort of do that. Oh God, I got to get the listening figures for you. I'll do that.
Anyway,
Davonite
Lodge Priest.
Yeah, we've done that one, so it's the Navigator next.
The Navigator, Expeditionary Navigator. He is the same number of points as the previously mentioned individual.
I couldn't help but think the Navigator and the Gladiators theme tune are very similar. The Navigator.
That's been a really good show, actually.
That is this series of. Oh, it has been good, to be fair.
Okay.
Right. The Navigator, not Flight of. He's just a normal there.
Great film. I'm gonna have to watch that now. Thanks.
Yeah.
He's armed with the lidless stare psychic power. It's a strength 2 template with the potential to cause pinning and force, offering a chance to inflict harm to both guardsmen and marine equivalents, while unarmed in melee. So he's unarmed. He just has a little las pistol.
Actually, that force thing's useful against demons, isn't it? Doesn't it? Doesn't force do some to cause instant death or something?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Don't make me look up a thing.
Force rule. Basically, it's a thing.
I'm sure demons are impacted by it in some way.
I think they are, but force is a thing. So we won't make Chris look it up.
Force is pinning.
Well, no, I'm here now. Bulky. So I have it all on PDF. So I
but it's going to be in the
any psyker with a weapon or ability with the special rule may choose to make a status check before making attacks. If the check is successful, then the strength and value of any attacks made is doubled. If the check has failed, then perils of the warp is resolved, targeting the unit containing the model that failed to check. If the psyker fails perils of the warp, then it may attack as normal.
I'm sure there's definitely something. Anyway, I'm sure people will write in and tell us. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure that there's some weirdness.
I'll have a look at the
I'll have a look at
I don't think there is. I
could be making it up.
Yeah. Do you want to take us through the next unit, Graham?
Hang on.
Are you looking it up? I was giving you a chance to look it up.
You're skipping the best bit about the navigator.
Oh yeah, I am, aren't I? Sorry, yes, that's the bubble.
Skipping ahead. So
yeah. I'll look at the
controlling player of an enemy unit that arrives via deep strike assault within 12 inches of the model with this special rule must roll an additional d6 when rolling to scatter that unit. Woof.
Yeah.
No, thank you, sir.
I mean, I suppose that and combine that with a Master of Signals to really ruin your deep striking day.
Really grind your gears.
Yeah, but then again, if you roll a hit, it's not going to have any effect, right?
No, but
and the only 3 sixes you would roll in the whole game would be when you roll for scatter that dodge. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There won't be 3 ones Triclops eyes. It'll be...
yeah, no. Everything. The ones.
All the big numbers will be out.
Fowler's armor saves need 3 ups. Oh yeah, no,
24 inches off the board. Bye, Valdor.
A High Bliss model. I've had him since I got him at the UK Games Expo years ago. He's primed and he's been sitting in my Doom box, and I think I might have to paint him up for this.
I thought the one from what was that? What was that game?
Blackstone Fortress. Yes, there was an excellent guy in there. If you can get him,
he looked very cool for doing that. Putting that off.
I think the box set is actually for that. Still, the core box is still for sale, so you might be able to pick it up. I think so. Okay, I've looked up force, so we've got 1 mention so far in the Gargantuan subtype. Weapons with full special rule that used to make an attack against a model with the Gargantuan rule are not affected and resolved as normal.
I'd laugh at it.
Here we go. Etheric Dominion. Corrupted resilience rolls. This is Petra corruption. Cannot be used against force weapons. Where have we got mention rules? Oh yeah. Importing a primaral force. Malevolent. Oh no, that's just a.
Is that your co-pilot doing a little internet for you?
It's Control F on the.
Oh right.
It's literally Control F on the PDF. Oh, here we go. Etheric invulnerability. Invulnerable save cannot be taken against attacks with the force special rule.
That's what it is.
So there you go. Yes. Okay, brilliant.
Cool. Glad how we got to that. Okay, so the next thing out of the bag, this is going to the elite section. So there's not an over and abundance of HQ choices. Actually, without going to legacies, you've got 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But 2 you've got.
Are there any special characters?
Can be 30 guys. No. 1.
There used to be, didn't there?
But there is 1. He's not in the He's not. Okay. He's not a HQ. He is a bog standard.
Okay, cool. So anyway,
standard. He's an elite.
That's the first of the kind of Auxilia Terra, sort of big infantry Terracos comes under the Auxilia Velataris Terraco. So these are like the elite sort of stormtroopers, and they're equipped with reinforced void armor. So that's that 4+, but it also includes the heavy subtype. So they reroll. Successful wounds, I think, or against blast and template weapons, which is what the heavy subtype does. But of course, they can't run, which does slow them down significantly. And I think they're -1 to movement reactions,
something like
charge distances. But anyway, so good against templates and blasts. All members are upgraded to Blister Skill 4. Woo! Weapon Skill 4.
Weapon Skill 4.
Yeah, further improving their combat effectiveness. Sergeants have the option to equip heavy void armor, giving them a 3+, which is nice. Boosting their survivability, of course. The entire Terraco, with the exception of the Vanguard section, come with Volkite charges, which is, I think, a pretty good gun.
Yeah.
It's good for dealing with your marine equivalents. So basically, it's 2 shots, range 18, strength 5, strength 5, AP 5, Volkite. So if you get enough wounds on there, you can re-roll for some extras. A little bit of a tickle. They don't have the close order subtype, so they can be spread out and not worry about that quite so much. So yeah, in terms of what's inside the Terraco, let's go over to Michael.
we start off with a command section. Basically, pretty much every Terrico has a command section, which is just the normal guys, just with command upgrades. So the command section can change all of their guns to power weapons. That would be ill-advised. I think it's silly. The best advantage of this Terrico is its guns, unless you are deploying basically a Vanguard section.
Yeah, I really struggled to work out the point of the command sections as I was doing this.
I think it's
maybe I'm missing something.
To give you your command Vox. So.
Okay, but the Vox interlock thing you can take in the normal squads.
Yeah, you can take.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I think you've got give you more chances.
If you lose your Warlord, you've got a way of transmitting that Vox signal around. You could then say, right, this Velataris command section is now taken over command for the whole army, or whatever, something like that.
Leadership 9, which is sure.
Yeah, basically the way I look at it is, if I'm taking a Terrico, I want a command section just in case.
I'm a bit more laissez-faire with that. I think they're going to die anyway.
But they've got a use. They've got the Volkite charger, so they're still useful.
They totally are useful. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I get your point. That, if you were going to pay for a single squad of Velataris a Velataris squad with Volkite chargers, why not make it a command section and then give it a Vox charge, whatever it's called, not the Vox interlock, the other one, command Vox, just as a backup if things go sideways.
I didn't realize, and I just read. So when units with the heavy type make a reaction, where adjust their movement by their initiative value, they take one off their initiative.
-1,
So they're doing 3-inch moves and stuff.
So I think it's the same with their charge distances as well, isn't it? Or am I made that up?
They can't run anyway.
Yeah. They -1 to charge?
Chunky boys.
Have a quick look at the heavy rule. I always get this confused.
I've got it on my other screen.
Okay, cool.
Unit types. Heavy. He ain't my brother. He ain't heavy or his.
If only that was true.
Well,
that I'm not heavy.
Oh, I see. A unit that includes any models of heavy. May not run, and we're making movement during reaction based on initiative characteristic, reducing distance by 1. Nothing about charge.
Oh, okay, cool. I've been doing myself a disservice.
Doing yourself who's taking an inch.
Making things even more harder for myself, if that's even possible. Okay, cool.
Hopefully.
So okay, Mr. B.
That was the case.
It's
Chris now. Yeah.
But just saying, I do get your point about maybe there is a place in my heart for the command section.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Right. Sorry, half my biscuit. Velataris Storm section. When the Volkite armed Velataris are a formidable force, available at cost of 8 points per model. These soldiers have the option to exchange their Volkite guns for Storm axes. Sure. Provided with a more potent melee option.
I don't get
Hang
this, but everyone seems excited about the axes.
Well, let's talk about the axes first.
You, sir, have written this, I believe.
Yes.
The Storm axes boast impressive stats.
Yeah, but it looks good, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So Storm axes.
They're basically double the strength, AP2, and unwieldy. So like power fists, but
they're worse power fists.
But they aren't specialist weapons, so you do get an extra attack. They're just like power.
Aren't they two-handed?
Oh, yes, you might be right.
Armor of the subject Storm axes. I saw them a second ago.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The weapons aren't bad. If you told me there was a squad of Marines with this weapon, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Storm axe, +2 strength, not times 2.
Strength 5.
Melee, unwieldy, two-handed.
No extra attacks.
AP2, 6+ murderous strike.
Okay, so there's something there then. Okay.
So you're going last. You're not getting an extra attack.
So if you charge, you get 2 attacks.
And you're spending 5. Are you swapping something for that?
Or yes, you're taking out. You lose your Volkite charger.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'll keep my Volkite charger and I'll just
Yeah, I'm trying to understand, because literally everybody who's talking about this unit is talking about the Volkite charge. No, sorry, the Storm Axes. I don't understand it. The weapon looks good, but not necessarily on that body.
So if it was initiative, I'd say yes, sign me up. But, even at initiative 3, I'd say sign me up. But
especially with a chainsword, it's going to cut through you.
Exactly. Even your barest marine pretty much is going to chop you up with, if he's got anything chainsword or even a chain bayonet. They'll do a number on you.
I think if someone can explain why this is good.
Okay, fair enough.
It's good.
Contact
thing
us.
Is, it's good in the realms of the army, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it is really, apart from the Ogrins, the only real decent.
But once you take out of that particular environment and look at it in the broader scheme of what it's going to have to do, I think then it kind of.
But if we kind of math hammer it, which I know you hate doing, but we can do it. If you took a 10-man despoiler squad with chain swords versus a 20-man Velataris storm section with axes, I think the Marines would kill the majority of the unit before the unit got a chance to attack back.
Yeah, and also you're only getting one attack each.
One attack each. If they charge them, they'll be on one attack each, coming back at you. Whereas the Marines would be on 3 attacks each.
And if you don't get 6 pluses, with Murder Strike, there's a good chance that your opponent's going to have a apothecary in the unit to just do FNP it. And
to be fair, the models look cool with the axes.
Great,
they do. But again, I probably would say the Volkite caliber is, it can be, you can shoot them, they can return fire. You charge them, they'll overwatch. They're going to do more damage that way than they're ever going to do, I think, with 10 or 20 axe attacks going last.
A chainsword has shred as well.
Yeah, it does. And they're wounding on 3s, so they're strength 4. If you had chain axes, they're wounding on 2s.
Yeah.
Strength 5 versus toughness 3. And they're re-rolling.
Yeah.
So out.
And and that's at initiative.
Avoid world eaters. And and reavers because they'll just tear you a new one.
Yeah, you're fishing for. You're hoping to get. Yeah, I can't, because also the Marines can have more attacks. Even a standard Marine's going to have 2 attacks
on the charge.
The
spoilers are going to have 3 attacks on the charge. Right?
Yeah, I just
and if you're into the world of world eaters, that you're in a minimum of 4% attacks.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it comes down to. It also comes down to cohort doctrine. If you're choosing a cohort doctrine that is any better,
means you don't die so quickly.
So I mean, I suppose if you took the Furious Charge one,
feel no pain, Furious Charge,
you could have. I mean, counterattack, the counterattack one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Feral pattern, fear, and counterattack. And I suppose
you get the extra attack
if you pop some needle pistols on your sergeants.
Pardon me.
See what you must try and get the pinning and from fear.
Yep, that's where I'm at. That's what I've got. But
the problem is needle pistols. What's the AP of a needle
12.
pistol?
They're AP blah. But I think they're rending. They're rending or something. I used to put them on all of my models. They were actually pretty useful back in the day, but I haven't.
What I would personally say is it's situational. It's super situational. Anyway, let's move on from these axes because they're going to bother us, and I'm sure people are going to tell us why we're all.
Hey, look, if you can, listener at home, just imagine there's that meme facing you on the screen now, where it's a man standing behind a board, and that board says in front of it, "Storm axes are rubbish. Prove me wrong."
Bobbins, prove me wrong. Yeah, another one. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Why would you say something so brave, so controversial yet so brave?
Because I don't care. I don't listen to anybody.
I must admit, I can't see the value in them, but we know.
Talk to us about the Vanguard section. They haven't released these as a model yet, but I'm pretty sure they will. Actually, there is a Flamer version of there is a Flamer section on the website that is resin, but
okay.
I think
so the Velataris Vanguard section. So instead of Volkite weaponry, why not give yourself some rotor cannons? Providing, according to Mr. B, excellent suppression capabilities to pin down enemy units effectively.
Yeah, rotor cannons have pinning, don't they?
I don't know. I've never used them. This is particularly useful. All I know is they're strength 3, and therefore I avoid them. This is particularly useful for creating opportunities for your other forces to eliminate priority targets. However, when facing hordes such as the Imperial Army or demons, heavy flamers may prove more effective. Saturating large target areas with templates that deal with numerous weaker adversaries. I can see that if you're being charged with Wall of Death, but if you are going to use them offensively, you've got to get close enough to use them, and that's always a challenge when you've got 4+ armor. The balanced approach of mixing and matching weaponry can be advantageous. Rotor cannons excel at causing pinning tests on targets with the same leadership, requiring only 1 wound to trigger. There's no need to max out rotor cannons. All right,
shell shock as well. So
they're shell shock 1.
Yeah.
So they're strength 3, 4 shots.
Strength 3, 4 shots. Hang on, man has thing on another book.
I would say rotor cannons are actually not bad.
30 inches.
Green list now.
Assault 4, so you can move and shoot.
Yeah.
Pinning shell shock 1. Shell shock 1.
So they're -1 to their leadership test when taking
-1. Yeah.
pinning test. So that's not terrible. I can see that being kind of useful. And Mr. B makes a good point that you don't need all of them to cause wounds. You just need 1 wound to force a pinning test.
And I suppose this is where you want to. This is the squadron you want to support. That Stormax squadron, I guess.
Problem is, of course, you're wounding on 5s against your Marine equivalents, and they're saving on 3s. But then again, 4 shots
still comes down to just 1. I mean, a squad of 10 of these is putting out 40 shots, and you just need them to fail 1.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's not a bad choice, actually. I mean, also this is a Benatarus, isn't it? So their weapon ballistic skill 4 as well.
4.
So they're hitting on 3s for those rotor cannons. So you could take 20 of them, couldn't you?
I think so. Can you?
Yeah, you can take 20.
So you can have 20 rotor cannons. I like the sound of that. That sounds like my kind of math.
That's your kind of fun.
And they're not terribly expensive either. Well, I mean, except in physical costs when they come out.
I mean, yeah, they would pin things.
They are. That's cheap, isn't it? Because the rotor cannons are free.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to refresh my memory. Can you be? Does pinning work if somebody charges you? And I know you don't take leadership tests, but I'm not sure.
You
about
can't
pinning.
Overwatch. You can't. Can't do a reaction when you're pinned, so you wouldn't be able to Overwatch.
No, but if you shoot somebody with the pinning type on your gun,
and
they charge you, do they still need to make a pinning test? I think they do, but I could be completely wrong. I've been pulled out on some of these rules recently. I was got down the wrong end of them.
Well, here's interesting. I'm going to cut you down very quickly. A unit that has become pinned cannot move, run, or charge.
No. You charge me.
Yeah.
Right?
And then Graham shoots you with.
Oh, I see.
And I shoot you with 40 of these. Would you then need to make a pinning test? You see what I mean? Because they've got the pinning type, but I don't know whether you can be pinned in a charge, if that makes any sense. Or
if a unit becomes pinned during a charge, that charge automatically fails, and the pinned unit makes neither charge nor surge moves. So units that are locked in combat cannot be pinned and do not take pinning tests.
Yes, I know you don't take leadership tests from Overwatch, i.e. you can't fail and run away, I don't think. But again, my world has been shattered this morning by finding out that if you charge a squad that is falling back, they need to make a leadership test or they die.
Yep.
Didn't know that. Did not know that. So that sounds like a tactic. You can actually stop them from even getting to you by pinning them in that part of the charge, which is cool. I didn't know you could do that. So that becomes super handy. So, yeah. I mean, to be fair, you've got a sergeant in there, the leadership 9, so with leadership 8, they've got to fail. So it's still pretty unlikely, but still, there's a chance.
Leadership 7, because...
For Marines. So if they have a sergeant, they'll be at -1, which would be... If they've got a sergeant... Oh, no, you're right. I'm talking nonsense. Yeah, they'd be leadership 7, yeah. Back in the good old days where sergeants were leadership 9, right?
backpack leadership was not quite as important as it is now.
Okay.
I quite like that squad in big numbers. It's. I mean, providing you can use it in the right
volume.
place. I think you'd need to put them in a Dracasan and jump out to go surprise MF.
The only issue of it is right now at this moment in time is we don't have models for them. But the way the sprue for the Bellatarus is set up, basically you've got the Bellatarus normal dudes on one sprue, no weapons or anything like that, just special upgrades. And then the other sprue has your axes and your Volkite charger. So
do you have to make a leadership test once, or do you make a leadership test 40 times potentially?
Once. It's at the end of the shooting.
It's just one.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
but yes, no, I can. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Okay.
It's a tactic. It's definitely a tactic. It's a better tactic than the
if you don't want a unit to get charged, you just pop them out of a whatever.
Yeah.
Rotor cannon them, and then
there you go.
I
hope they fail their test.
I would kind of want to have my vanguards sort of around my lav rifle sections as well to sort of keep them from getting charged necessarily.
Guardian squad for your HQ.
Sorry, then I suppose the argument with them would be better off with heavy flames.
They've got 30-inch range, so
they have got a chunk of range, and much longer than I thought it was.
So they're not. I mean, you can put them on your back line centrally, and they've got a pretty good arc of fire.
Yeah,
depending on your terrain, obviously.
Yeah,
so I mean, they're not shabby.
Against what's the AP of them? Sorry, is it AP?
AP nothing. AP nothing.
Yeah,
so you're looking for volume of shots to.
I quite like that. That's not bad. I mean, in big numbers, in a Dracasan, and then you're jumping out and ruining somebody's day just by
I got a rotor cannon squad.
What's that? 80 shots into them?
No, 4 shots each, 20 guys. Yeah, sorry, you are. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's 80.
Yeah, no, okay. In my head, for some reason, it was twice as many.
Felt should be less. So that could be a useful tactic, right? If you wanted to stop somebody in their tracks, but again, you are hoping for them to fail that one leadership test.
But if you're shooting them 80 times, I mean,
it's still only one leadership test at the end of the shooting. I mean, you're going to do some wounds. You're right, Mr. B. Statistically, you're going to do some wounds.
True, and it's better than nothing. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the Medicae section. No models for these yet. They're affordable Medicaes, 15 points each. They're like Space Marines. You buy them in one unit, and you assign them to command tertios.
I used the
Solar Auxilia. Assign them to tertios. Oh yeah.
The Solar Auxilia Primus Jovan and his Medicae orderlies.
Yes,
although it's going to set you back 65 notes. You get
he's a character all of his own. But
he's a character.
You can
that used to go for crazy money, didn't it? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because it was out of print for a while.
Out of print for years, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you get the option to give them close combat weapons, so charnable power weapons, power fists. But
charnable weapons. I'm kind of getting a little bit of a soft
surprising.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting a little bit of a soft spot for charnable weapons.
No, what I mean is, you don't want him in combat. But then again, you don't want many of these guys in combat.
That's always been the case with any.
Could you save those points and buy more Medicaes? So I think the best use for these would be pop them in your command sections to look after your command box operator.
Yep.
And then if you've got command sections of the plasma weapons, shove them in there so they can use that to help deal with the gets hot.
You can only buy 8 of them as well, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it's a 0-1 choice. So it's not like you could. You can't have one in every unit.
Yeah, that's why I'll be concentrating on the command tertios. That's my personal opinion. Concentrate on keeping those Vox operators alive.
But it's only a 6+, like you say.
Yeah, but is it better than nothing?
Oh, it's better than nothing for sure.
Yeah, but
they're
cheap. They're only 15 points a piece, aren't they? So
it's 15 points, and it's not like it's like a refractor field upgrade or something. It's an extra, save, but more importantly, it's an extra body. So that's an extra ablative wound for your marshal.
And the vehicles are all kind of pointed to have a capacity-wise to accommodate an additional guy these days, aren't they?
Yeah, 22s,
and
unless you're putting a demolisher on your Dracasan.
I noticed this, but charnable weapons used to be rending; they're now breaching.
Yeah, and they've got that duelist edge thing, haven't they?
They always had that, which gives you +1 in a challenge for your initiative. But yeah,
if you've got an army that favors close combat, charnables are a legit good option now. Whereas before they used to be a bit meh.
I mean, I think they were good. I used to have charnable sabers and needle pistols on my squad because they were quite cheap, and again, it just gave you +1 initiative in the challenge, which could be useful. And it had rending 6+, so they could always pull off a surprise.
Yeah. Then again, when I'm thinking of the weapons, I'm always thinking of it from a marine point of view. So
yeah.
Anyway, what about the special character then, Chris? The Swan, the only special character in this army.
Only special character in this army. He is Avos. Avos Jovan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it wrong. He is the Surgeon Primus. Despite being unable to join any unit due to bitter duty and being bulky 5, thanks to his auto gurney, he possesses a clever defensive mechanism. His low priority target aura prevents him from being targeted from further away than 12 inches, unless he initiates an attack first. This ability effectively keeps him safe and from distant threats until he chooses to engage. Moreover, within 12-inch range, he emits an aura that imposes a -1 leadership penalty on all nearby units, friend or foe, reflecting his intimidating presence akin to Victor Frankenstein in the 31st millennium. Okay. So he's Fabulous Bill, but not
Fabulous Bill,
not fabulous.
So yeah.
So in place of conferring fear and pain, he possesses an ability to resurrect fallen infantry models. Once per turn, any friendly infantry model that dies within 12 inches of him during movement or shooting phases. Who dies during the movement phase?
A reaction, maybe?
Is there a
you could die through dangerous terrain.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Well, that's embarrassing, isn't it?
You say that.
On a roll of 1, the model comes back with 1 wound and perishes at the end of the next turn, albeit with increased strength and toughness until then. On rolls of 2 to 5, the model returns with 1 wound, while on a roll of 6, it miraculously resurrects with all wounds restored.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Additionally, he can be accompanied by up to 3 orderlies, whom he can sacrifice to the auto gurney to manipulate his resurrection rolls. He is the most grimdark character.
No, he's proper hardcore.
This ensures
you get in the auto gurney, son.
Hey, Steve, sort of, Steve, just lie down. You look a bit sleepy.
Lie down there, and
I'm going to cut
you. Can imagine it's like a wood chipper or something. He just sort of chucks them in.
Jeff over there with the gun needs a new pancreas. Yeah, you've got one, absolutely. Steve. You've
got 2, Steve. Honestly, you've got 2. Just lie down there. We'll just whip that one out. You'll be fine.
Shove it into Steve.
Yeah, you've got another one. It's a backup.
Jeff springs back into life. Sorry.
You're like a space marine, Steve. You got redundancy. Redundant systems.
Did you not know that? We told you this. I thought you read it on the form. Oh,
you're a proto primaris, Steve.
Alan, okay. Steve's dead. Come and have a chat.
Oh, what a shame. Poor old Steve.
Yeah.
Okay.
This ensures crucial models such as Legate Marshal Ogrins are brought back to the battlefield when needed most. Okay, so what does this...
I like that.
But of course, that's at the cost of your leadership is going to take a hit.
Oh yeah, -1 leadership. Not unsurprisingly. But then again, interesting. Does that -1 leadership work if you're stubborn?
No, because you don't modify your. Okay.
It's like fear, basically. So I'm saying maybe not. Maybe not.
Let's have a look at the stubborn special rule.
Yeah.
Just for.
I think it says you can't have your leadership manipulated.
What's your bet, Mr. B? Come on, let's take some bets. What's yours?
I know. I think the -1 will hit.
Stubborn. When a unit contains at least 1 model, the special rule makes morale checks or pinning checks. The unit ignores any native leadership modifiers.
Okay.
If the unit is both fearless and stubborn, then the unit uses the rules for fearless instead.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So his wood chipper rule, just as we're now
going to be referred to as
forevermore.
So can he automatically bring somebody back?
So if the unit that includes one or more orderlies, then the controlling player may choose to remove one of these models by Steve to make use of the special rule in an additional time in a given turn, or add or subtract one from the dice rolled on the table presented. So if you rolled a 5 and you wanted to give
all the wounds back, chuck Steve in the wood chipper.
Steve in the chipper,
and go.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can model it as a wood chipper that would, rather than an auto gun. That would. Paint it white, like a piece of medical equipment.
Just have a person halfway in.
Yeah, half in there, and maybe a spray of blood
God's
coming
sakes.
out.
Come on, community. Don't let us down.
Don't let us down.
I want to see on the Edge of Empires model. Edge of Empire community page your wood chipper.
Wood chipper to print.
And just the orderlies have got Steve, A, B, and C on their
Steve,
jackets.
Alan, and Jeff on their jackets. Yeah. They're going in the chip.
Right, okay. Worried.
Right, looking in the chat, guys. I'm sending you a STL.
You're sending me what? I've heard about these little things.
Okay.
Let's chat.
No,
wrong screen.
There's something in the world. Like, goodness me, there it is. Bang on.
Okay, right. Where were we? Graham, Channel Night Ogrites.
Yeah, so sort of one of the I don't know, they're a bit of a unit that is very specific to the Solar Auxilia and militia and the like. So they're quite iconic. So the Ogrins, great looking models, by the way, cost 40 points each. Impressive strength and toughness stats at 5. So so far so good. They possess Rage 2, so 2 attacks on the charge. Hammer of Wrath 2 as well at strength 5, so pretty cool. Feeling of Pain 5+, and wield a potent weapon with 4 attacks at strength 7, AP 3, with a rending 6+. Yeah, that's okay. However, despite these formidable attributes, they of course have their drawbacks. With a weapon skill of 4, they're going to struggle against your elite versions of like veteran Space Marines and the like. And because of the bitter duty rule, characters are unable to join them in battle. So you can't think, hello, I'll chuck my legate marshal in with these big old fellas. They can, bounce around the battlefield while taking a load of wounds for me at toughness 5. So their leadership value of 6 is really troublesome.
And also with Death Frenzy as well.
Yeah. Various morale-based shenanigans, as we've talked about. Despite the safety net of Death Frenzy, which grants additional attack after failing morale test, they're going to run. They're just going to run. And that is the problem with them, I think, is that, you just need to kill. If you've got a squad of 3, you need to kill one and get them to make a leadership test, and they're done at that point.
That particular squad needs the what you call it, commissar reading them the nursery rhymes,
the last rites. Yeah. Don't they have stubborn though? They used to, and
let me a second. I can tell you right now, they do not.
They have. So they really are.
They have bitter duty.
Which stops someone from joining them.
Yeah. So that's a load of old.
So you can't pop them with a marshal to up their leadership.
No. Yeah. So that Death Frenzy thing, when they fail a leadership test, one of them dies.
Yeah.
And then the remaining ones get an attack.
Really? Wow.
That's all it is.
But if you think about it, I suppose that means they don't run. It just means you just lose the 3 wound model at 40 points. You can take more than 3 of them, though, can't you? You can bang 10 of them together.
You can have squad of 9, I think.
Additional 6. So you can have 9 of these bad boys. So maybe a squad of 9. Who cares if I fail my leadership test? Just old Bobbins there. He's dead. Never mind.
Oh, this stupid thing.
Let's get extra attack. So I think their claws at strength 7, as you mentioned, lack of instant death, reduces their effectiveness. I mean, if a power fist, for example, they'd be pretty cool. But they may do all right against your normal Marines, but like I say, you go against Terminators or anything that they can tank, use the Artificer armor to tank the hits on. I think you're going to struggle a bit. They're not going to they may deter somebody for a round, just to chew through the wounds, basically, but not for too much longer, I would have thought. Like I said, they're going to die and they're going to just further leadership test and they're going to remove models. But if you manage to get them in against a non-Artificer armored las cannon squad, for example, heavy support squad, they could do a number on them. But again, getting them there through the Overwatch, etc., is going to be the tricky part. They do look good, though. That's the thing. They are a cool looking unit in the resin. And what about using the plastics? Have they got plastics?
No,
they've got the.
They're just resin.
Okay,
but you could use the
Imperial Guard ones,
40k ones, couldn't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose you could. But...
Yeah,
but the weapons would be wrong because they don't.
But yeah, I think they are iconic and they are a cool looking unit. I think.
Yep.
Okay.
What do Ogrins look like these days in 40k? Is that of interest?
They've got big shields and stuff. Was that
there's Bullgrins, I think, and there was There's two. There's the same box, I think, but there were two different.
Yeah, just to before you start thinking, yay, 9 Ogrins, £81 a pop for Forge World or Games Workshop. So
they're not cheap at
still some of those oligarch prices kicking around.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that I think this is one of those armies that's going to get the odd unit here and there until it's a bit more.
Mind you could make them stubborn. Do they get stubborn? They would get stubborn if but the what's the name?
If you gave them that cohort,
cohort thing would make them stubborn.
I mean, you give them Furious Charge and
Furious Charge, Strength 8, and Fear. They actually become pretty useful at that.
In that one, they do, because they'll.
But the rest of the army would suffer. I mean, you'd have some really cool Ogrins, but that would be about it.
Yeah, but some really cool Ogrins that are instant deathing Space Marines
on the charge.
Yeah,
but they are in AP3, so okay.
So over to me.
Yes.
And we're going to go into the Auxilia Infantry Tertio, the backbone of your army, the majority of your universal line forces. And we'll start with, as with many of these infantry tertios, a command section. So this is the commanding force in that tertio. These keep your order and efficiency in place. You've got your command box, which you should take, which gets you the leadership, because otherwise the rest of the squad is leadership 8. Troop Master, yes, he can do a job in close combat. He's got weapon skill 4, 3 attacks, and he can take the pistol, power or charnable weapon.
Sorry, you broke up slightly there.
Okay.
Exactly the wrong moment. All I heard was you can take the piss. And that is all I heard for a few seconds.
Okay. You can take, so you've got the refractor field, but he can do combat, but the rest of the squad has just got bayonets, so don't make him this isn't a melee unit.
No, it's
don't
tempting,
mistake
but don't.
Yeah. All right.
You'll be disappointed, I think.
Yes. Okay. And what about the las rifle section then, Chris?
Sorry, I was distracted by looking at the Servitor Ogrins. Las rifle section.
Oh yeah, the Servitor Ogrins are lovely.
Yeah, so see how many you get in a box. Is it 2 or is it 3? I think it's 2. I think, which is not ideal. They're 30 quid a thing. Right. So 60 points gets you 10 feeble humans with additional models costing 5 points each. Each soldier is equipped with a las rifle, which, as we said, is got 2 fire modes. You can do it on volley for 2 shots or blast charger for a single shot, but a higher strength to that. They can move. What's their normal movement speed? Just I think it's probably 7 inches.
It's 5.
Yeah, it's 6 inches. So they can move 3 inches and fire as normal.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a huge amount, but hey, it's 3 inches. That's
what she said.
Sorry. dear. And basically, you want to get as many people on the board as possible, and use that 30-inch range. As we said with the rotor cannons on the Veltaris, 30 inches is super cool. So las rifle sections, close ordered, move 3 inches, fire, and just have a whale of a time, basically.
I mean, they are. Single strength 6 shot is probably, I don't know, it's volume of fire at strength 3, wounding on 5s, or one shot each at strength 6. So
I
would
take volume of fire. For my dice, I would take volume of fire because I know that I'm gonna.
You're then rolling 5s to wound, and that's so depressing. It really is. It's like, oh, seriously? Whereas I feel much happier rolling 2s to wound.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
To be honest with you, I think it probably, I would be amazed if it doesn't weirdly, in some mathematical way, balance out exactly the same.
Probably does.
Quite possible.
Strength 6 though is half the range, only 18, so there is that.
And if your opponent is within 18 inches of you, they're realistically going to be within charge range
next turn.
So it's good as a last resort at that range, but I would be trying to utilize it at 30
if you had
just as much as possible.
If you had a lot of them, you could try and chip a wound off a dreadnought.
20.
You're still wounding on
5s.
Strength 6 you're wounding. You can't wound it with strength 3.
No, I know. I'm just
at strength 6 you can wound it on 5s.
Can you?
Yeah.
Toughness
7.
Oh, the Contemptors,
yeah. The Leviathan's toughness 8, I think.
Toughness 8, yeah.
So, but you can still wound it on 6s.
Yes. Strength. Yeah, 5s and 6s. 5s, but I mean, if a dreadnought's coming at you,
it's pretty much all over. But you might get lucky.
Yeah. They are going to be the bulk of your force unless you take the Velataris cohort. And in fairness, the models are super cool, and now they're not £1 million for 10 of them anymore. So which is even better. Do they come in? Cool. Do they come in boxes of 10s, or do they come in boxes
20s?
20s. Oh, even better. Look at that.
They come in boxes of 20s.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Can't take a lot in terms of upgrades, can they? I don't think there were anything. No. I've got one.
They're pretty standard.
I'm on the wrong book now. But they can take augury scanners.
Yes.
Yep.
And that would be super useful with your strength 6 when you get someone appear on your front door. That's a game changer. That's someone likely to be on the receiving end of that. That would be an eye opener.
Okay.
Because you're wounding custodians on 3 pluses. That's always fun.
Okay.
This is going to be a bit of an interesting section, the next bit. So it's full of interesting.
Are you saying the rest of it's been boring?
No, the fast attack. What I mean by interesting is there's units here that I think most of us are going to. There's a lot of stuff in here we're going to ignore.
Okay. Dedicated transports.
Oh, I put dedicated.
Transports
at the ends. Sorry.
That's fine. So first out the bag. Is the aforementioned Arvus transport. So according to Mr. B, the Arvus transport doesn't offer much, and that should probably be where the full stop is, Mr. B.
Yes.
It's in terms of advantages. Like other aircraft in the current meta, it's plagued with vulnerabilities and lacks substantial armor or weaponry. Clonking in at 75 points, it may seem affordable for a flyer, but given its limited capabilities and how vulnerable flyers are, it's a big investment for something that ultimately you could probably do better with a Dracosan, although Dracosan's twice as many points.
Although it has deep strike, Mr. B, it's not an assault vehicle.
No.
So
but then
deep
again,
strike
your stuff,
with its armor 11.
None of your stuff is deep strike. It is really, other than that storm section stuff, is aimed for thing. I'm thinking more if you want to deep strike a squad with a bunch of Volkite chargers onto an objective. That's more. That's more what that is. If you could get, say, a Bellattara squad deep strike onto an objective over the other side of the board. Okay, they're probably going to die like as soon as a Marine looks at them, but.
Yep, it's an option, but I
70 points.
It looks at
them. But once it's dropped and guys got out,
then they shoot.
Done. It's
Interceptor.
It's just yeah.
Well, Interceptor wouldn't work. It doesn't come in until the end of the movement phase. So you could shoot the others, but you wouldn't. You'd shoot the guys. They'd get out and they would die.
As I said, it's a bit of a tough one. It's a bit of a tough one, but I don't think it's really worth taking. I think it's pretty pointless.
Is it plastic now? Or did I just dream that?
Nope. It was re-released, but in resin.
Oh, okay.
They did some. They made some changes. It's still resin.
Gotcha.
But they've tidied it up a bit.
This next one is like How the Mighty Have Fallen. This one.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. B, tell us the tale of the lament of the Primaris Lightning Fighter.
Primaris Lightning, once mainstay upon a time, of almost every single army, thanks to its was it the Kraken Penetrator? Yeah, the Kraken Penetrator.
Kraken Penetrator missiles. We called it the Capri of the Heresy world. We called it.
It's 150 points right now, and it's more than a Thunderbolt. But you can get those Kraken Penetrators, which 36-inch range, strength 8, AP 1, armor bane, 1 use. It was better, but this meta is not good for vehicles. Vehicles die really easy. If the Kraken Penetrator had brutal, it would actually be a really good choice because it could take care of dreadnoughts. But flyers are already not doing well, and vehicles will die quite easily. Right. And the Sun Fury missiles, which you can take, you shouldn't.
I mean, you're right. Kraken Penetrator still kind of work if you want to have a pop at a Spartan. It's not a bad effort. The problem is
there are better
you
options.
rock up with a plane, and somebody's got one reaction, which is intercept with a 10-man las cannon squad, hitting on 6s, or they've put a 10-point upgrade on their dreadnought with the 2 las cannons to give it their heretical targeting array, and it's just going to blow you out the sky before you get a chance to use those missiles.
It doesn't need to be las cannons either, because it's only
armor 11, so auto cannons would do it.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's just all flyers are rubbish.
It is all flyers, game. But these are particularly vulnerable with that low armor. And again, there's no jink, right? There used to be the option to jink them, and if you snap firing, you might have been able to survive a round. But there wasn't the proliferation of intercepting things that there is now.
Yeah, it's really sad because the model is lovely. I love the model.
It's a great model.
But it's the same with all flyers. There are a lot of amazing looking flyers in this game, but all of them will just die now. There's very little point to taking any kind of flyer now, which is really sad because I love flyers.
There used to be, you used to sort of build your army and go, deal with a Spartan and deal with a flyer, deal with some deep striking or whatever.
Now you can just use a flipping, as you said, autocannon squad or a las cannon squad with an augury scanner. You're sorted.
Yeah, I mean, you're hitting on 6s because they're still up and got Skyfire, but again, targeting array, heretical targeting array on a dreadnought with 10 points is such a bargain. You just rip them out of the sky.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the Thunderbolt, Chris. The
actual best looking.
This is weird, isn't it? Why is it 120 points and that's 150 points? That makes no sense.
It's got better armor. It's got better movement.
Exactly.
It's got better hull points.
Yeah, I was going to say, why is the Thunderbolt? The Thunderbolt is a better unit all round than the Primaris Lightning Fighter, but it's 30 points more.
Superiority rules. I've just forgotten that.
That's where if there's a flyer already on the board, that you come in automatically.
Oh yeah, you just turn up, don't you? And
yeah,
which is even better.
Yeah. It's got some great positives, but it's also got
I love this as a model. It's one of my favorite models.
It's by far the best. The best.
And still,
the business.
Rob's that he took to the Demon last year was just chef's kiss.
That's an iconic kind of iconic model.
It dates back to that one from White Dwarf that they built with a hangar. Yeah, it's
the front cover of, I think it's Double Eagle, the Tanith adjacent novel, based around the Fantine Air Corps, I think they were. Mm-hmm. That's got the 2 on there. It is the best thing in any plane, I would say. makes the Xiphon look like a load of old junk, which it is. Right. This thing has got 4 centerline mounted las cannon. 4 centerline mounted water cannons, 2 centerline mounted las cannons. So it's putting out a ton of shots. It can automatically enter from reserves, as we said, if there's another flyer on the board. And while conventional rules dictate that flyers can only gain Skyfire during their shooting phase, this can be circumvented. This unit can circumvent that limitation by equipping Skyfire missiles, which have got Skyfire with them.
Again, like I said, would you spend 120 points on this as an anti-air thing when you can upgrade units for less to do the same thing?
Yes, because it's cooler.
It is cooler, though. I will give you that.
That's the only reason I do it.
Yes, because it's cooler.
Yes, because it's cooler. It's 100 and it's only £6 more than it is points. It's £126 for one of these. It's temporarily out of stock.
I'm trying to work out why. I mean, the Lightning Fighter is ridiculously expensive for next to nothing.
Hey, look. What was good is now.
Yeah, I mean, crack and penetrate missiles will also set you back 35. Concept of 3 options from this, right? So, how many missiles do you? 2. So you'd basically have to, for the Lightning, to get 4 missiles, right? No, 3 missiles. Sorry, you can get 3 options here. You get 6 crack and penetrate missiles. That's going to cost you 105 points on top of the 150 points for the Lightning Fighter. How many hull points does it have? Well, it's got 3 as well. It used to have 2, didn't it? 11, 11, 10. It's weird. But anyway, the Thunderbolt is better. What do you think?
Yeah.
So the ramjet diffraction grid on the Thunderbolt. A model with this ramjet diffraction grid reduces the strength of shooting attacks made against its rear or side armor by -1 or 2 if that attack has the blast special rule or uses a template to determine its range.
Yes. Which I don't think you could use blast templates against flyers, but I could be wrong now.
I mean, that could could be us. Overhang of the old days.
I'm like I said, my confidence is shaken after the rule ruling that I got the other day.
Anyway, take it because it's cool. Don't take it because it's going to do lots of stuff.
It's not. Yeah.
I still. Was it Joe that had it? The Company of Legends. There was. Were they Thunderbolts or were they something else? They were done in like French Air Force style years and years back. Yeah. 6-7 years ago now. Oof.
Might have been lightning strike fighters with tons of cracker missiles.
All right. What about the little tank, Mr. Mills?
The Carnarvon Strike Squadron. So
I don't understand why this is Legacies because it's still on sale.
Mad. So this is their kind of Solar Auxiliary's lightweight assault tanks. So rather than the big old lumbering Lehman Russes and Malcadors, they're relatively expensive, 70 points each. So they're roughly kind of in that.
The squad is 70 points. The additional ones are 65 points.
Yeah. Oh, I do beg your pardon. Right. So yeah. So you got a 5-point tax kind of thing for the first one. They're kind of like the Predator equivalents ish, except not quite so good. So 3 hull points. Okay. Armor value of 12, 11, 10. It's a bit scary. They've got some good armament options though. They've got standard twin link multi-laser, which you probably would never take because it's easily surpassed by the 3 Volkite Culverins, 45 inches, heavy 5, strength 6, AP5 deflegate. So they can bang out some volume of fire because I think you can put. Can you put Volkites on the side sponsors?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I'm coming on to that. In terms of turret options, you've got a twin-linked autocannon or las cannon as well. I don't know. I think the Volkite's probably the best choice there because got sponsons. You can include the standard options along with Volkite calibers. So you can really go for some big, good time fun by having a Volkite turret and Volkite calibers on the side. Bear in mind that this is Blisssteel 3 though, so don't get too excited.
Yeah.
And the issue lies actually that many shots either.
No, 3 shots for a caliber, 5 for the turret isn't a massive number.
So it's only 11.
To be fair. Yeah. So, but again, squad of 3, it's 21 shots. It's quite a lot, but again, ballistic skill 3, everybody's favourite. You're not hitting as often as you'd like to be.
No.
Mr. B says you should think of them akin to a 40k Sentinel. So cheap and fast sources of firepower, but hugely vulnerable to even a slight scrimmage. So the issue with the Cardinals lies in their restriction. All must be equipped with the same turrets and sponsons. So you can't have a nice versatile las cannon on this one, Volkite on that one, autocannon on that one. The pintle weapons do offer some relief, for cloud, but mainly for cloud control. Optive autocannon spam can serve as a versatile alternative to specialized weapons. Master Volkites, pintle mounted multi-lasers may provide effectiveness against tactical heavy support squads, particularly heavy bolter Volkite squads, but then they will return fire. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm not quite sure whether at 70 points it's like half the points of a Lehman Russ.
Yeah. So would you go? So I am inclined to go autocannons.
I think the autocannon's twin linked, which does give it a slight advantage.
I think I would personally put my my Volkites on this.
I think I'd put my faith in Volkite and just have it there as a watch out. You're going to get 11 Volkite shots, but you're right. I mean, if you think about it, on a normal Predator, you can put Volkite calivers. Sorry, you can put not Volkite calivers. You can put Volkite culverins on the side sponsons. So that gives you 10 shots just on your side sponsons on a normal Predator. So yeah, bear that in mind.
I suppose the thing with
they kind of nerfed them a little bit, I feel.
With the 3 autocannons, at least strength 7 rending with autocannons, there's an opportunity that they can do
something
against armor.
Yeah. That's fair.
And it's just
I say it just feels to me like this is
Volkite on the top, and then
it just feels to me that this is like the kind of role that a Sentinel would fill. But then we've got a bunch of Sentinels coming, so All right, the next Legacies unit in the fast attack is the Termite Assault Drill. It's no different whatsoever from the one you will find in the Legion or the Mechanicum, but 12 spaces doesn't really offer anything to... I don't think it offers anything to the Solar Aux. It can't be a dedicated transport for your tercios. You've only got one. You're not taking in squadrons.
Wow.
It is... Yeah. It may be useful for a command squad, but I don't see much use for it beyond that. I'm sorry, there isn't really much to say on that one.
I mean, if you think the Arvus is useful, then this is correspondingly useful because it's the same thing fundamentally.
Yeah, I guess the problem is
it's still going to get shot.
The Arvus can actually be taken as a dedicated transport with one of the.
I see what you mean. This is
just a straight up. No, it's a choice. It's a single choice.
Attack choice. Yeah. You used to take them as transports, I think. Or were they always in fast attack?
No, you used to be able to take them as a transport, as a dedicated transport.
I do actually have one.
Could you take a companion squad in them? Could you shove a companion squad in it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So a companion squad, stubborn, plasma guns, melter guns.
They wouldn't be stubborn though. Oh no, they do have stubborn.
They have stubborn as a special rule.
Yeah.
They
would. That would work.
That's kind of
the way I see
how bulky are Ogrins? Bulky 4. Okay, so you get 3. You can get 3 Ogrins in one.
Didn't they used to have special rules that they couldn't put them in transports?
Yeah,
they go Dilali.
Yeah, it's dark, and there used to be the rule.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't in this anyway.
Gotcha. So yeah, I think you're right. That's actually probably one companion squad with melter guns in there with a Medicae on the off chance.
Yeah.
And then use them as a quite expensive
surprise.
You can't take the Medicae with the
companions.
The companion. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the Ogrins. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's
the classic kind of pop up with your melter gun tactic.
Look, to be honest, I think the only way you are taking this is if you bought it for the last edition.
Agreed.
I don't think anyone's going to go out of their way to buy it.
Do termites? Do they do something special when they arrive these days? I haven't actually.
It's basically the same. It's the same as the drop pod type of thing. It's not much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just pretty much the same as the whole drop pod thing.
It doesn't have they used to have this thing where if you
do damage
something, they would do damage. Yeah.
I don't know if it's got the same, but it's not.
I'll have a quick look. It's subterranean assault's the rule. I'll have a quick look while clocking on.
Somehow I've managed to get ahead of myself and not put down the person who's introducing the armored tertio, because it is Mr. Mills. But so
hold on, I'm just looking for subterranean.
Yeah. No. The
Subterranean Homesick Blues. Is that by what's his name? Bob Dylan, isn't it?
Something like that. The drill is a lovely model. It looks great. It's a really nice model to put together. It's but it just doesn't have any value in this list. I can see that can't be. Then again, there's what would you put out? What else would you take in that fast attack spot? The flyers, no, the Carnodons basically. But then again, we don't know what are the new what are going to be. Oh, the mini Sentinels. They're probably going to fit in here. So
okay, yeah.
But we don't.
Fast forward to them being a heavy support for us.
We'll go to the next episode, whatever. Or the episode.
Yeah. So heavy support. Obviously, this is the meat and potatoes, if you like, or meat and two veg of the army. So let's start off with an Auxilia armored Terrico. So like the infantry Terricos, you can take your tanks in these kind of squadron-esque formations. So Lehman Russes, numerous. This is where you bang your Lehman Russes, but numerous cohort doctrines impose a restriction. You can only have one of these per detachment.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Let's say one.
Yeah. However, considering that you can potentially accommodate up to 9 tanks with this configuration,
maybe 10?
doesn't feel
10 with
10
the command tank.
With the command tank doesn't feel too inhibitive because 10 tanks is 2,000 points, roughly speaking, if not more. So yeah, unless you're going super crazy, having a massive game, I can't see it being that much of a restriction, to be honest with you. So again, the Armored Terrico has its own components, starting with the command sections.
So the command section is a single Lehman Russ. It's 200 of your finest points, a ballistic skill 4, so slightly better than everything else. It can only have the battle cannon. It cannot take anything else.
Yeah, which is a pain, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a pain as well, because
you'd want to have the Vanquisher cannon in there or something cool.
Yeah.
The Vanquisher cannon is absolutely the best weapon in this for these types of Russes.
You get a good array of front weapons, the pintle choices, multi-laser, heavy stubber, heavy flamer. It can take a flare shield.
Yeah.
So that's super useful. And it can take a Cognis Signum.
It's an interesting one, the Cognis Signum, because it has to be part of a unit. So the previous iteration of the Cognis Signum
going to come up soon.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm saying it's going to come up soon, simply as where that is a limitation in this army list.
Yeah,
in this.
I did play somebody, and they were like, "Okay, so I've got a Cognis Signum, and so this is 6 inches away, so I'm going to boost the ballistic." Unfortunately, you can't do that. Not in this edition, because it doesn't work like that anymore. You've got to be part of the unit, basically, which does suck. Because they wanted to boost ballistic, they're super heavy, which would have made it pretty handy.
And the thing is, this has a rule which basically says it must join a Rust Strike Squadron or a Rust Assault Squadron.
You were getting quite irate about this.
I was, because it's... Yeah, we'll come on to that later. But yes, it works. You basically got the command tank, you put it with another squadron, it gives the command... to them. So you put it with your Vanquishers.
Just a normal, because you can just have the battle cannons on there.
Yep.
It can go with the assault ones as well. It doesn't have to go with the Vanquishers.
No, I mean it can go with both. It's got to go with the assault or the strike. But I'm saying I would personally attach it to Vanquishers.
Yeah, but you need that extra ballistic skill +1 for the Cognis Signum. This is exactly where I would throw it, to be honest with you. Cool. So talking about that, the Lehman Russ Strike Squadron, for a mere 150 points, you can acquire a quite resilient 14, 13, 10 vehicle with 4 hull points and the ability to outflank. So boasting a. Whoa.
Sorry, I deleted something from there. For some reason, I put HP in. And we know what the HP means.
Yeah. Boasting a movement range of 12. You have the option to equip it with either a battle cannon, Gravis las cannon, 2 Gravis autocannons. So
see, this is interesting.
Twin linked 3-shot
autocannons, so they're twin linked 3-shot autocannons. Sorry, what was it? 2 Gravis autocannons, so they're already twin linked.
Okay,
and 3 shots. So you're getting 6.
Are they? Are Gravis autocannons?
Gravis autocannons are.
You've got 2 Gravis autocannons. The Gravis autocannon itself is already twin linked. So you're actually getting 6 shots off this.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think it meant to say a Gravis autocannon, not 2 Gravis autocannons. I think they made a mistake.
But then again, they have said the Gravis las cannon, which is twin linked 2-barrel thing, isn't it, as well? So
yeah, but in this it's 2 Gravis
rather than Gravis autocannon.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
So I think there's been a mistake in the wording.
Sure, they haven't updated that in the FAQ or anything.
Bear in mind, Gravis las cannon isn't twin linked. Just correct.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it not?
It's heavy 2 Thunder.
Oh yeah, Gravis 2. Yeah. Sorry,
you're right. Of course.
Yeah, but with the autocannon, you do have that. And no, it hasn't been updated as I can see in the FAQ. So it's a
6 autocannon shots.
That's worth it, actually.
Yeah.
That's fine, Mr. B.
No, I was looking at that and I was like, that's not right, is it? And then it was like, oh, wait a minute, what have we got here? Change the first turret to Solar Auxilia Lehman Russ Strike Squadron. Change the first option, set 2 turret mounted Gravis las cannon and option to turret mounted Gravis autocannon. Oh, yep, they changed it. Sorry. Check the FAQs, Michael.
Check the FAQs, Michael.
FAQ.
You've
got fact.
You got owned, pawned, as they say, the young uns.
I'm deleting that now. Okay, there you go. I screwed up.
Oh, nice one. I was about to just suddenly invest in autocannons on my tanks. But of course, both of those weapons are up against probably the most useful one of those, which is Vanquish a battle cannon.
Only 5 points.
Yeah, which comes with a coaxial autocannon for 5 points. I mean, you would take the battle cannon every day of the week. The coaxial means if you fire that gun at the target, the battle cannon is then twin linked.
Yeah, as long as it's hit. Yeah.
Yes,
you get to reroll. You get to reroll.
And the Vanquish battle cannon has got the marvelous. It's got a great stat line as well, hasn't it?
It is. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
So strength 9, armor bane, AP 2.
So it hasn't got armor bane.
Is it not?
Strength 9, AP 2,
brutal 2,
heavy 2, Sunder, brutal 2.
Sunder, that's right.
72 inches.
Fantastic range. So yeah, and again, 3 of these.
I mean, if you
6 shots,
do you do it from the end of the barrel? Because you can always buy those super long, the Mars pattern barrels, and just give yourself an extra 6 inches on top of that.
Yeah. So I think this is a great. I would use the battle cannon, the Vanquisher battle cannon, probably out of all of those. Certainly above the Gravis las cannon, because it's still 2 shots, except the Vanquisher one's better. Why wouldn't you take it? And the coaxial means you can make it twin linked, which is a great advantage. And you can rip through dreadnoughts with 3 of these tanks.
Yep.
If you're lucky. I mean, there'd be 6 shots, and each one's brutal 2, giving you the potential against a singular dreadnought of, what's that, 12 wounds?
Mm-hmm.
Well, potentially 12 wounds, yeah.
If you hit with all of them. Yeah. Because each one's brutal 2. They shoot twice.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Moving on to the Lehman Russ Assault Squadron. These 200-point tanks. The same Lehman Russ without outflank.
It's always worth pointing out, just very quickly, that although the initial cost for a strike squadron is 150 points, additional Russes past that are 135 points.
Yeah,
the same with the assault squad, you get a 15-point discount. So don't think you're spending 450 points. You are saving some points that you can put into upgrading Vanquish into Vanquisher turrets.
Yeah. I mean, would you ever outflank these tanks? I'm not sure I would ever. 72-inch range. I don't think there's any need to, is there?
Yeah,
it depends if you want to get a better line on somebody, I guess.
Yeah,
punch through an armor.
I mean, if you want to, or maybe keep them alive for an extra turn, so they're not on the board turn one. That's possibly something you might do. But you put Gravis las cannon on them. You put the Vanquisher battle cannon and you put a las cannon on the hull mounted weapon, and they're pretty effective at that point. 3 of those will cause some problems.
Yeah. Okay. So Assault Squadron, 200 points at the start, and then it's 15-point discount for everything after that, so it's 185. You get your Demolisher cannon. You lose outflank. The Demolisher's still all right, but you can put on an Executioner plasma cannon with that 5-inch blast.
Yeah.
And the Volkite Macro Saker, which is an 8-shot Volkite weapon, like Culverin. So yeah, it is reinforced as well. And basically, the way I look at it, weapons-wise, your Demolisher is going to take out vehicles and automata, robots. Executioner is going to deal with your Determinators, and the Macro Saker, Space Marines, and so it needs to have a job and equip it like that. The Executioner is going to deal with reasonably big units of Space Marines. I think. So I would probably, if I was going to have a strike squadron, I'd probably have a couple of Executioners. That would be me, because Rending 4+ is, it has Rending 4+ instead of the standard Plasma Breaching 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it could also deal with vehicles. Macro Saker, it's a strength 6, so it's a defensive weapon.
Yeah.
Handy. But it is good for taking out your what's the word I'm looking for? It's good for taking out your Marine
rubbish.
Your Venataris Storm.
The Carnodon,
taking out your girlfriend when you can't.
The Carnodon is better because it's got the turret and the not pintle mounters, the
oh man, you've got me.
Yeah, the
sponsons.
Yeah. So
I think the Executioner cannon is probably the best choice there.
Yeah,
I feel
bigger blast, easier rending.
Yeah,
yes,
reaching 4+.
It's not going to instant kill as many people with it's not as strong, but it's just a bit more useful, I think.
It used to be so good in the last edition. 3-inch blast template, strength 7 AP2. It's an absolute monster. Out of the 3 of them, you probably would say the plasma cannon's the best choice.
Yeah,
that's me personally.
I think so. Yeah, I mean that's the one I would be. I mean the Demolisher cannon used to be so good; it's terrible now in comparison. I mean it's still from what you're right, Mr. B. If you shoot it into a squad of like a las cannon squad, for example, and you can take care of the sergeant with artificer armor, you can make a hole, but.
Yeah. This will deal with Terminators, deal with Marines, and it can take on vehicles at a pinch.
It's just that 3-inch blast template for the Demolisher cannon.
And the AP3.
Yeah.
I don't mind so much the AP3, but when your blast radius is so small,
but then it would just be the same as a battle cannon, wouldn't it? I guess.
Yeah. Okay,
but then strength 12.
But that's what it used to be. It used to be just
it used to be AP2, didn't it?
It used to be strength 10 AP2.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Just point and click stuff because that's what the big lad was basically. It was the souped up version, wasn't it?
Typhon.
The Typhon.
Yes,
yeah.
Typhon. Yeah. All right. Shall we move on to the artillery?
Is it rending 4+ or breaching 4+? Sorry,
it is rending.
The Executioner is
rending 4+.
Something. He's probably correct.
Is he? Sounds convincing.
He's rending 4+.
Now that's interesting because that makes them actually super useful then.
Yeah, that's what I said. It can deal with vehicles if it needs to. Right. Okay. So moving on to artillery, which is a bit weird one. It's not artillery, but
twice the range as well.
Yeah.
Twice the range.
What's it? 36.
48 inches.
48. Serious.
48, strength 7, AP 4.
Rending 4+.
Rending 4+, large blast.
Good shout.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to upgrade it as well.
Yeah.
When it feels like quite a big upgrade.
It's a huge upgrade, realistically.
Mm.
Okay.
Lucky I've got 3 of them.
Luckily, I've got a load of Lehman Russes that have got interchangeable tops on them.
Same. Okay, cool. So next out the bag, then the artillery terracos.
Yeah.
That's big guns out. Right. I'm assuming everyone's gone silent because I'm supposed to be reading this bit.
That would be a
fair thing to assume. The heavy weapons teams of the Solar Auxilia, now Tercios, there are 3 units, of which at least 1 rapier or tarantula unit. Tarantula's greatly undervalued. They are, at least 1 is mandatory from either of those. We have the artillery command section. This is akin to the one found in the troop slot for the Tercio, offers the option to include a cognitive signum. However, since the cognitive signum only benefits the unit itself, comprising las rifle equipped individuals, it's not really useful here. It's better to allocate points towards additional rapiers instead.
Yeah, don't take it. Never take the command section. It's useless. The cognitive signum can't be used. It's useless. In this slot.
This. You were getting quite vocal about this.
He was getting angry about the other.
It's badly written.
Okay, command section can only be. Yeah, see what you mean. The command section says you can only join a Lehman Russ strike squadron or thingy squadron, but the artillery thing, I guess it means you could take a singular tank. But no, it has to join them. It says it has to join them, doesn't it?
It's a command squad. It's dudes. It's dudes.
Yeah, it's a veteran and a troop master. It's not a tank.
Sorry.
His argument with the thing earlier was about the Thunderers and the
yes.
We'll get on to this. The other thing about this is they can take augury scanner, so that might be useful.
Yeah, but what they're shooting with that augury scanner, I suppose actually that's probably not a bad thing, because if they can all react because they've all got an augury scanner, or they've got 1 augury scanner.
I think artillery can react.
No, but if it's
this is rapiers. Sorry, it's a badly. I
think they fall under the same problem.
The armored battery is the artillery. Rapiers are essentially the heavy weapons teams. Real, if you want to be.
Are they?
Yeah.
Rapiers
fall under this.
Yeah, these are rapiers. These are tarantulas and rapiers.
Yeah, I get that. What I'm saying is, can rapiers react?
Yes.
He says, convincing himself, but not me.
I'm absolutely positive that I'm absolutely.
Why
positive.
wouldn't they be able to?
What unit type are they? Automated artillery.
Carrier infantry.
Automated artillery is their rules, right?
No.
Rapiers, infantry, artillery, heavy.
Artillery. So let's have a look at the artillery rule quickly.
There's the lever. I'm opening up the lever. Right. So. Yeah, sorry. The one of those. Okay, so the artillery. So your tarantula is a infantry.
Right, hold on 2 seconds. Artillery subtype. Right. If a unit that includes any model with artillery subtype has no models without artillery subtype, then all models need to be removed from play. The unit that includes 1 or more models with artillery subtype may not run, declare or otherwise make charge or make reactions.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, okay, never mind. All right, I must be wrong then. Fair enough.
It can't. You are. There's no must about it, Mr. T.
Yeah,
you are 100% are wrong.
I guess I thought it was the. Wait a minute.
So this is
no. Okay, keep. You guys go on. I'm just going to check something.
We've sent him off on a mission now. He's going to be very unhappy with me. He's not happy. He's not happy about this. He's had a ruling go against him in The Hague, and he's now going to do a.
Do you want to throw a dice, Mr. B?
Yeah, do you want
No. I'm checking.
Do you want to do Thingamy Ace Attorney kind of move?
No, I'm checking Auxilia Artillerists.
Yeah, I was about to look at that as well. Actually, fair.
Okay. Well, there's a whole somebody else actually on Mr. B posted earlier today that we're going to do this and posted it on the Solar Auxilia Facebook page, and somebody said, "Hey, what's the ballistic skill of the rapiers?" Because the rapiers are ballistic skill 4, but the men are ballistic skill 3.
Yeah. But
which one do you use?
So
I thought it was the guys using the rapier.
Used to be that, but then why would the rapier have a different ballistic skill to the guys?
Tercio, yeah.
I only noticed that after that person, whoever they were, pointed it out.
Because they've got las pistols.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So when they fire their las pistols, it's ballistic 3.
It's ballistic skill 3, yeah, and the rapiers are ballistic skill 4.
Yeah, that would make sense. I would go with that.
Otherwise, yeah.
Makes them slightly more useful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But somebody would argue the toss there, right?
And it can't
absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you're shooting with the rapier, which has got its own, because you shoot with the rapier, which has got its own ballistic skill.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's true. That would make sense to me as well. Like you say, so rationalising it out, the rapier gun itself, is a separate entity. It's got its own wounds, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 wounds. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's its own thing. It's a separate, separate thing altogether. But yeah,
what Auxilia Artillerists
is basically a rapier must have 1 gunner per rapier in order for all rapiers to make a shooting attack. If at the start of the controlling player's shooting phase, the Solar Auxilia battery contains fewer gunners than carriers, then only the number of carriers equal to the number of gunners may make a shooting attack in that phase. And as long as there are at least as many auxiliary gunners in the unit as there are carriers, then the unit cannot be pinned, automatically passes pinning tests it's called to make without dice being rolled. And once the number of auxiliary gunners is reduced to less than the number of rapier carriers in the unit, it's lost once there are fewer dudes than there are guns.
Got it. You can't add more gunners to it, can you? It's just 2 per gun. There isn't a way to pump 30 guys around it.
Once you're less than 3 guys, you lose a gun, basically.
Yeah. Basically. And you lose that ability to not be pinned. Okay.
One would assume that you would assign the wounds to the... Actually, if you assign 1 wound to the gun, then all the other wounds have to go to the gun until that gun's gone.
Yeah.
So that's a risk. So, I see what you mean. You lose the ablative guys till you get down to 3. And then things start to get a bit gnarly as you start taking wounds off the guns.
Yeah.
But they can't be pinned, but they can't make reactions.
And you can take 6 in a squad.
Which is no bad thing.
Yeah.
So you take six rapiers.
Oh, no, that's tarantulas. Sorry, tarantulas.
Yeah.
Like rapiers can have 3 tarantulas.
Yeah. 3 rapiers.
3 rapiers.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. What do you think of the rapier? I think the rapiers with the laser destroyer arrays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're a great choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would get the laser destroyer wear every day of the week.
Yeah, definitely. In the absence of not being able to take the same gun on the lovely Vindicators in this army, then I think that these are a good anti-Spartan unit.
Yeah,
the ranged AP1, long range AP1 is flipping awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally take anything else. I mean, yes, the COD launcher is fine. But
yeah, no, not as good as it used to be. And again, I would definitely every day of the week rapiers.
Yeah. Okay.
And in fact, they're good in Marines as well.
Yeah. And the tarantulas, they're okay. They got their fire protocols too and fearless, but they have to hit the nearest visible enemy, even if it can't be hurt. So if you've got heavy bolters, you take the Hyperos missile launcher, which is which possesses skyfire, and thus it's snap firing at targets on the ground. got a bit of a problem there. I mean, I would, if I was going to take these, I don't know why I take them. I mean, las cannons might be useful for,
the ballistic was so low, though, isn't it? So
it might be useful for basically, I don't know, if you put them around an objective in your area, it might be useful to make custodies think twice, but really,
sorry, you're making me think twice about what?
Not really. You think twice about which colour your wallpaper's going to be when and then you just stomp on these guys, basically.
But laser destroy is a bit better at that, I think. So so I think this unit is fine, but only for the. I would take the.
I'm not a big fan of the tarantulas. They are quite inexpensive, like you say, in comparison, but you do pay the price.
You don't get the options either. They used to have so many. I've got some that have got rotor cannons on, I think, or something like that.
Got one?
Rotor cannons or something like that. Hard to dig them out.
Yeah. There's the Hyperius missile launcher, which is Skyfire.
The last cannon ones.
That looks quite cool.
Ones. I'm sure there were some other ones as well.
Mm. Okay. So all in all, the kind of long and the short of that section is
take all the
batteries with laser destroyers.
Yeah. To be blunt. All right. So where were we? Chris, do you want to talk us through the Malkador?
Come on, this is not the tank that I need to be talking about. Right, the Malkador.
Okay, I tell you what, I'll talk about the Malkador. You can talk about the
best named tank in the game.
Right, the Malkador Heavy Tank Squadron. It's a reinforced 13-13-12 chassis, 14-inch movement. So it's pretty durable. It's 225 points each with a bit of a discount on further points. You basically get a battle cannon, which you can trade up for a Gravis or a las cannon, a Vanquisher. They're 10 points. But I think that the Vanquisher is better on the Lehman Russ because you've got the coaxial autocannon there, which is more useful. Whereas this, you just got the Vanquisher. So I wouldn't bother taking the Vanquisher. You've got heavy bolter sponsons, which you can swap out for autocannons, multi-laser. Oh, no. Is it? Yeah, you've got a bunch of heavy bolters. You can swap them out from autocannons, multi-laser, heavy flamer, las cannon, and the front heavy bolter you can swap out for a demolisher cannon and fit a flare shield to it. And basically, you can customize this a lot.
It's a great looking tank, I think. Old school.
The Solar Aux have really cornered the market in flare shields, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, just everything can take them. There isn't a tank that can't take a flare shield.
It's also got independent fire control. So basically, any weapons that weren't used in your initial shooting attack can shoot the second target -1 BS. So basically, if you're rolling up, you've got a tank in front of you. You've got a Vindicator there. Use your battle cannons or las cannons, whatever. Demolisher, take care of that, and then it leaves your heavy bolters, and you can go right. I'm just going to take a pot shot at these Marines. I'm -1 AP. It's worth a shot because otherwise they can't deal with.
Okay.
So I mean, you could just position the tank in a way that it can draw because every gun can always shoot at something these days.
Yeah.
If it can't draw a line of sight to the same target, it can shoot something else.
With the sponsons can,
Yeah. So,
are they sponson mounted?
I think they are. Yeah.
May exchange both of its side-mounted heavy bolters. Side mounted.
Man looks up thing in book. But anyway, I think the problem with the Malkador is why not just have a Lehman Russ?
Because it's 50 points more. Yes. I agree with you. Man. It's got one extra hull point.
It is pretty quick, I suppose, 14-inch movement, but
two extra inches, one extra hull point, but it's less armor.
It is less armor, you're right.
I
know the rear armor's better. 13, 12, whereas the Lehman Russes are 10 on the back.
I mean, it has got side weapons, so it has got a bit more.
Yeah, that's
going
true.
For it.
It's got a bit more fight to it, hasn't it? It's got front. I wouldn't put the demolisher cannon on there. I mean, I wonder.
It can take a
Vanquisher Cannon, if you want
Vanquisher
to.
Cannon, yeah, 10 points.
But without the twin linked, it does make it somewhat less effective than the Lehman Russ version.
Okay, I guess so. Yeah, but the only one you don't really get here is the Defender, which has got bolters all around.
You do make a good point there as well, Mr. B, which is this does help you if you run out of your 9 tanks.
Oh yeah. If you've
in a
somehow
Terrico,
if you have
and you want more tanks, you can put a Malcador in. But they don't come in squadrons, do they?
And it will be 2 tanks for you.
Yeah. If you've somehow managed to fill out your Lehman Russes, you can take Malcadors instead because they count.
Yeah.
All right.
So next out of the bag is the armor battery. So this used to be really what the Imperial Guard were all about back in the day. Unfortunately, ranged artillery has taken a bit of a battering in this edition. So the basilisks. I mean, this is a great looking model, by the way. Are they doing this in plastic? Did I stream that?
Yes, with a fully modelled interior.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's never going to see the light of day. The problem is 200 points for this, right? So you can take a Medusa or the Basilisk. The entry points is harsh.
It's 200 points. It's not worth it.
Range of 240, strength line, large blast, shred, and pinning, but it is AP4. Or similar stats, but rending with the Medusa mortar. Their cost outweighs their effects on the battlefield, and I would agree with that. I mean, the only thing I would say that in defense of artillery, if you like, is that if you want to wreck a las cannon squad, artillery is a pretty good way of doing it.
Yes, but I'm going to shoot you back. I'll be blunt. They have better options coming up later in this list to do exactly that job with artillery.
Fair enough. So shred and pinning, I suppose, is useful. I don't know what the stats for the Medusa are, but back in the day they used to be terrifying. Now you can just walk through one and minor inconvenience.
I'll have a look. Medusa cannon, strength 9, off for a bad start.
Yes.
36 inches.
Mm-hmm.
AP 4.
Okay.
Barrage, large blast, pinning, rending 6+.
So basically, it's the same as the gun on the Basilisk, except a third of the range, and doesn't have shred, but does have rending 6+.
Yeah.
And that's probably where it's going to be left. They are good-looking models, so I will give them that. But yeah, somewhat used to, back in the day, it wouldn't be uncommon to find 3 Medusas, for example, lined up against you.
Well, again, Medusas used to be AP2
strength 10 AP2.
Yeah,
strength 10 AP2.
Okay. Right. So, Chris, do you want to take us through the Valdor Tank Hunter?
So this is what happens when someone goes, how can we make the coolest named tank? And they go, let's name it after the coolest person in the entire heresy.
I will be perfectly honest here as well. The unit name is Valdor Tank Hunter Squadron. You can only take one.
Tank Destroyer Squadron. Thank you very much. The Hunters are a different type of tank altogether, Mr. B. They are the best tank. The second, they are my favourite of all the guard tanks. Not this one. The Hunters, but the Hunters.
Oh yes.
Anyway, so right, neutron beam laser blast formidable anti-tank capabilities with Ordnance 2, Strength 10, AP 1, Concussive 3, Shock Pulse, gets hot profile. Boom. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Offering comparable anti-vehicle firepower to the Vanquisher cannon while also featuring Shock Pulse. Well, it's better than the 2 shots, same as Vanquisher. Higher strength, higher AP.
Well, 1 shot which will hit.
Well, that's all right. Same with the Vanquisher. And this is strength. This is AP 1, so it needs a 5 to blow stuff up.
That is true. I can must have 3 if you want to go down that route.
Yeah. And shock pulse to neutralize any targets it doesn't outright destroy. Moreover, the absence of brutal limits its effectiveness against dreadnoughts and automata because they don't get shock pulsed. They would get concussive 3 though.
Mm-hmm.
So they would be at weapon skill 2. going forwards. If they fail the leadership test, option vanquishers may be a more cost-effective and slot-effective choice. Well, you're wrong. Because if I'm building a list and it's got the opportunity to exclaim the word Valdor in it,
look, it's a cool tank. It's decent, but there's other things that will do the job better.
It's
not that it's bad. It's just there's something else that's better. That's kind of the problem there.
It's got one sponson, which is odd.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which sadly isn't. It doesn't shoot spears out of it, which is just.
This is one where I really hope it's going to come to plastic at some point because they've already got the hull.
Yes. Super cool tank. Yes, Mr. B is probably right. You probably could do the better elsewhere. It's pretty quick. 14 movement, 5 hull points. This is 3 again, so we can't escape that, unfortunately. Containment breach, which is probably going to be a headache when it blows up. But hey, you want a thing that's got a super cool thing sticking out of it? This is it. I'm a big fan.
Do you want to cover the next one so we get back on track? Actually, no. Graham should do this one because I screwed up. Yeah, Graham should do this one. Look, Graham loves these. Is Graham still there? No, he's not there. I'll start with this one, then maybe Graham can deal with the next one. The Cyclops demolition vehicle. 1 to 3 of these, each accompanied by an operator. That's kind of the difference with this one. You've got to have a troop there. They basically act as individually. You can carry it in the Oryx, the Arvus, or the Dracosan. In combat, it's basically a single auto hit attack, which results in its own destruction. And I think its effectiveness is not. It used to be great. It explodes at initiative step 1 instead of 10. So if you're sending this into bunch of Terminators, they're going to smash it to death before they touch it. I mean, it's got strength 10, AP 1, instant death on that explosion, armor bane, brutal 2, weapon skill 1, toughness 5, 2 wounds, and a 3+. So it's going to get knackered. So if you send this against a Dreadnought, it's going to just go boom, kill it. So as cool as it is, and I really think this is a really cool model, just little teeny tank. It's not.
Is it a blast or is it just a single?
I think it's a single attack. Strength 10, AP 1. I'm looking at the I'm going to look at the book now. Sorry, I've been switching between the flipping rule book. This is something I want to complain about in the next show, but I've been talking about that, and Graham will have seen my whinging this morning about that. So, but yeah, no, the Cyclops, it looks so cool, but it is a it doesn't actually say. It's just it is a, where's its weapon, war gear, reinforced, las pistol, Detcon unit. Oh no, that's the operator. Oh, it's going to be somewhere in the war gear.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but that's it. So
because if it's just a single turns up and one thing can die from it, that's, well, I suppose it's not expensive, is it? It's just underwhelming.
Yeah. Okay. Graham, do you want to take us through the one that's going to get me swearing? The armored support tertio.
Yep, can do. So yeah, the armored support tertio. So this is a collection of Lehman Russ-based vehicles with centerline mounts or no main gun at all. Serves as an armored terraco for the purpose of cohort doctrines. However, these vehicles cannot be used to circumvent restrictions against armored terracos. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, basically you can't. It's like the thing, if you've got a restriction, if it says you can only take one tank terraco, you can't then say, oh, well, I'm going to take this one as well. It's okay, like, no, this would count as the tank terraco.
Right. So while they could have been worthwhile, significantly cheaper than standard Russes, they unfortunately do not offer enough value to justify their cost. Okay. So as with all terracos, you get a command section. But yeah, the rules as written, the command section must be assigned to a strike or assault squadron. Over to you, Mr. B.
Yeah, so the rules as written say it has to go with a Lehman Russ strike squadron or an assault squadron, which means that it can't actually be taken in this terror code. Rules as written. I do believe that they intended that it should be able to be assigned to the Thunderer, Destroyer, or Trojan support vehicle, but they haven't. And if you get a rules lawyer, you might not get away with it. That's simply it. It's just badly written rule. Anyway, Chris, move on to the Thunderer. I hate this flipping model. It gave me such a headache trying to figure out why anyone would take this.
Because there might have one kicking around. So this is basically a Lehman Russ with a demolished cannon stuck on the front of it.
This is the non-turret version, isn't it? This is the old Forge World model.
This is the old Forge World model, yeah.
It's
just weird that they brought it back because that's been not around as a model for a million years.
Yeah, I can't remember the last
reinforced and it's slow.
We had some fun with this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
They are 200 points for the first one, 185 points afterwards.
They don't want you to take these.
No, I don't. And I don't, as Mr. B is right, I don't know why you would take it really, because you're better off taking a normal Russ with a opposable demolisher cannon, which can do more things.
Yeah, because the problem is because it's slow, it always moves at cruising speed. If you move at cruising speed, the demolisher cannon's ordnance trait kicks in, and therefore, boom, can't use it. So if you move, you can't use it. If you stay still, all you can really do is pivot, and people just avoid you. So it's, for the same price, you get a Lehman Russ with the demolisher cannon that you can aim and fire and move, plus a heavy bolter that can be upgraded. So, if you really want demolisher cannons,
Fair enough. It's okay.
There
are better ways of doing it.